Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Bulletproof Studios, the podcast where we go into content and marketing advice and also invite different founders on to hear their business experience. On this week's episode, we had Jade Hayter on the podcast, who is a serial entrepreneur, has her own hairdressing salon, her own content studio, and has just recently founded her own clothing line. And not only that, Jade is also a wife, a mum, a friend, and everything in between, and still managed to thrive while doing it all. We really enjoyed recording this episode with Jade. We went into her founder story, how she got started, all the way through to where she is now, and everything in between. If you don't already follow Jade on social media, all her links to her social channels will be in the show notes below, so give her a follow and a support and enjoy the episode.
Why don't we start there then? Where, like, growing up, what did you want to be? What did you know what you wanted to do?
Yeah, so I always wanted to do hairdressing. So I actually wanted to do hairdressing or be a marine biologist.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Pretty similar
really
career
very
paths.
similar.
Well,
Why?
I grew up in Carnoustie and, like, you can't really do marine biology unless you want to study like a fucking starfish. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's not really any... Do you know what I think it was? I watched Deep Blue Sea.
Oh, okay.
And then I
like,
was
this
like,
is for me.
that's a bit of me. I hate deep water. Like, I had an obsession with sharks. And then I was like, maybe hairdressing's more realistic.
Sharks hairdressing, yeah.
Why? What was it about hairdressing that you liked?
Do you know, my mum used to be a hairdresser and I had this colour of hair when I was younger. My mum wouldn't touch it. So it was like long, blonde, straggly hair because my mum would never cut it. And then I think I just got to the point where I wanted to cut hair. So my auntie was looking after me and she was a total pushover, right? She was just one of these people you could say something and she would do it. And there was one day I'd said to her, "Can I cut your hair?" And she's like, "Oh, Jade, I don't know. Now I'm 10. And she's like, I don't know. And she was also celiac, right? Which back then in the 90s, it was really, really dangerous to like eat wheat. I made her eat my cake because I was pure so offended. So I'd went to the shop, she'd bought me all the stuff to make a cake and I pure forced her to eat a fucking wheat.
Eat my cake.
But I also forced her to cut her hair. And I thought, looking back, I'm like, I was fucking 10.
Were you a golden child then, by chance?
No, I was like I was the youngest and I was always just the kind of wild child.
Wild, yeah.
But my mum had picked me up the next day and she's like, "Oh, Catherine, I love your hair." Now I cut a bob. Like her hair was long and I cut a proper
God,
bob.
so not even just like a wee
trim.
trim.
And my mum was like, "Catherine, your hair's lovely. Where did you get it cut on a Sunday?" And she's like, "Oh, Jade did it." My mum's like, "You let a fucking 10-year-old cut your hair? Like, are you mental?" She's like, "No, well, I just thought, like," and then ever since then, I was just fucking Edward Scissorhands. Trying to cut.
I wish social media was a thing back then because that would have been a pretty good story to share online.
My niece cut my hair into a bob. Like,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. I love it.
But I'm like, why would you let a 10-year-old cut your hair?
I'm trying to think, like, my niece, if she came up to me, she's like, "Can I cut your hair?" I'd be like, "No, gal." Like,
I think as well, like, I was always so creative. Like, I was never good at school, like, academically. And, like, school isn't built for academics. It's not. School isn't built for creative minds. It's built for academics. So I would always get in trouble for talking. I would always get in trouble for not listening.
yeah.
And now I'm like, that's all I fucking do is listen. So, yeah, it was... I always wanted to do hair. And I remember getting my first job as a Saturday girl. I was like 13. And I was fucking buzzing. I was so excited. And back then, it was like slave labour. Like, you can't do half the shit that you... Like, you were cleaning, like, fucking skirting boards with toothbrushes. You were... Juniors should be seen and not heard. Like, you were like that. And then the guys that were the actual assistants that say were like 16... They were training on a Tuesday. So I pretended that I had a free period, right? I was only in third year, fourth year. And I pretended that I had a free period on a Tuesday so that I could go and train with the other assistants, right? So I got away with it for months and months and months. And it turns out my guidance teacher's mum worked at the school, but she also worked in the salon on a Saturday. And someone was like, "Oh, Jade's doing really well. We're training. Like, she's doing really well." And she's like, "What?" Like, Jade's at school. And they're like, "No, when she's got a free period on a Tuesday, she comes along and she goes to the training."
You're like, "Oh,
and they're
no."
like, she's like, "No, she shouldn't be. She should be at school." So yeah, I got rumbled and then I
That blew the
like,
whistle on it then?
Yeah.
Did they not see the entrepreneur in you then?
No, clearly not. But it was funny because I remember going to, when I'd left school, I went and did my first week in the salon and I was so excited.
Is that like the work experience week?
No. Like when I left school, I was
right.
like, right, this
Sorry.
is what I want to do. And I did my first week. you're talking 43 hours. And I got 60 quid.
I was generally going to say, I always found that maybe I don't know how different it is in today's world. I always remember like when we were leaving school, like people our age and that sort of stuff, when they were working. Even my cousin, she done a stint at like hairdressing, but the work ethic that you have to put into that for 10, 15 quid a day or something like that is insane.
It was horrendous. But one thing I will say is like my generation of hairdressers have discipline.
Yeah.
Like they definitely do, because you were rattling, you were shaking. It was like the army.
Yeah, I love that.
But I ended up leaving because I was like 60 fucking quid.
Yeah.
And then I went to work in, do you remember Shoe Zone? Not Shoe Zone, Original Shoe Company.
Yeah.
So it was like a pure a Ned shop.
Yeah.
Was that a chain?
Yeah.
Right.
I remember in Glasgow.
I went to work there, and then Mike Ashley bought them over, so then it became like a pure glorified Sports Direct.
Yeah.
But I went to work there, and don't get me wrong, I went to work there for not much more money, but I had so much fun.
Yeah.
And then I moved through to Glasgow to actually study fashion. So I thought, right, I'm going to take a step back from hairdressing. I studied fashion at school, and I loved it, and I thought, I'm going to be a fashion designer. And so I moved over to Glasgow to study fashion, and I ended up, long story short, I ended up leaving the fashion, and then I went back to hairdressing. So
You like that as your core.
yeah,
That was your.
it's creative. So
I can see that from the fashion aspect as well, though. Like with your.
I loved it. I really, really did enjoy it. But I was in hospital, and I was in hospital for a while, so I missed a lot of the coursework.
Yeah.
That I was like, rather than having to resit it, I was like, I was good at hairdressing, and I was like, it's also a more realistic kind of like career to go down. So
I think especially in Scotland, like there's not a huge amount of opportunities for fashion in general, unless you're willing to move to.
Well, do you know, a lot of the people
London.
that studied on my course actually like went to go and work with like Dior. Like they actually went really, really far.
Yeah.
I studied at Glasgow North, and they've got the best fashion kind of course
Yeah.
kind of in Glasgow, other than going to Cali and kind of stuff like that.
When was that?
Oh, fuck, now you're saying. When I was 17. 17?
17. So you're quite young, like kind of getting into that.
Yeah, I think like I'm really mature for my age. Like, see, when I was younger, I always wanted to be older, and now I'm older. I'm like, I know people I'm 21.
Yeah.
I think because I was a January birthday, when I left school, all my friends were nearly 18.
I was the same. I'm February.
Yeah, and it's shit because I wanted to be older
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
But then I think I used to take my sister's ID, and she was 6 years older than me. So when I was 14, I took her ID and got away with
Yeah.
being 20. But I think because I worked in the hairdressing crowd, if you're there, everyone's a bit funky. I had like that fucking mullet.
I was going to say, this was a later question
I feel
I
we
had
need
for
to
you,
see
like
pictures.
hairstyles, how they've changed over the years.
Oh my God, I had that. And it was like before it became really neddy, it
Yeah.
was cool because it was part of the British hairdressing. It was part of like the collection for the BHAs, and that was in like 2005. So it was cool. And then Sarah Harding had it.
Yeah,
I had it
remember
before
that.
Sarah Harding
Yeah,
had it.
I did it first.
Aye.
I set the
I
trend.
did it first. And then all these Neds came out with it.
Yeah, and you're
and it
like,
was
okay, now
a
it's
pure
wasted.
chavvy
Yeah.
haircut. And then it's funny because Christopher will say, I remember showing him a photo and he's like, fuck me. He's like, I would never have went near you. I was like, excuse me, I would never have went near you.
Exactly.
You were
So
younger.
it's not like.
I was into like a pure, like a guy in a band.
Yeah.
And I ended up like marrying a football boy. Do you know what I mean? Who I would
Yeah.
never have looked at when I was that age. I was like, our paths would never have crossed
Yeah, if you
at a
met at
younger
that
age.
time, you'd be like, nah, not happening.
Because football boys are weird as well. At school, they only knew how to talk to other boys.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the indie boys knew how to talk to girls because
Because again, they were a bit
all,
creative as
yeah.
well. Like, they had that, yeah.
They got their whole first.
Yeah.
The football boys had to wait.
'Cause they had no chat.
Exactly. You'd be like, hi. They'd be like,
I don't know what to do.
football.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Locker room chat. Just going back a wee sec then, you said so before you pivoted back to going to full-time in hairdressing, you said you were in and out of hospital. What was happening there?
So when I was 16, 17, I kept going to the doctors. So my stomach was like, I looked like I was 4 months pregnant. And I kept going to the doctors and I kept saying, like, this isn't normal. Like, I'm in excruciating pain. And I think I went 4 times and they kept telling me it was a kidney infection or it was some sort of urine infection or it was just swollen. And The last time I went, it was a locum doctor, and she basically sat down and she said to me, like, you're pregnant. And I'm like, I'm definitely not pregnant. Like, I had sex, but I was like, I know I'm not pregnant. I didn't have a boyfriend or anything. And I was like, no, I can't be pregnant. And she totally gaslit me into thinking I was pregnant to the point I'm like,
Really?
Am I
pregnant? So I must have been 17, and she sent me up to the Queen Elizabeth, but it wasn't the Queen Elizabeth at the time, it was the Southern.
Yeah.
She sent me up to the early pregnancy unit, and I'm sitting on my own, like, shitting myself, being like, what? How am I 4 months pregnant? Because after that, I was like, well, if I'm 4 months pregnant, I can't do anything about it. I'm 17, what the fuck? And then I ended up sitting there and I had to wait for what seemed like a lifetime. And then I just got really, really scared. And then I was kind of crying because I was like, this is so overwhelming. There's like people here that are pregnant, people like, it was such an overwhelming situation. So I started crying. And because obviously this is meant to be a happy time for people, they literally moved me and sat me in their staff room and left me because I was crying.
Were you bringing the vibe down?
So exactly, like you're fucking the Grim Reaper sitting there. So I was like, so I'd phoned my mum and I was like, Mum, can you come up? I was like, I'm at the early pregnancy unit, but I'm not pregnant. Can you come help me? And then obviously my mum came up. My mum
What
is
a phone call
a
that must
Karen.
have been.
Oh my
I
God.
swear I'm not. I swear.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not. But she is a Karen. Like, her name's Karen, but she is a
Yeah.
proper Karen. So she came up all gamblers and what's going on? What's going on? Anyway, they took me in to scan me. And then, do you know what I mean? When they're talking amongst themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Hi.
I know.
what's
Somebody
going
want to fill
on?
me in.
And then they were like, we'll just be back in a minute. And honestly, it felt like the longest time because I'm just sitting there like, what's going on? And my mum couldn't come in with me. And basically they took me back out and they were like, listen, you're not pregnant. And I was like, oh, I
Told
told
you.
you that. But they're like, but you've got a very large ovarian cyst, right? So I'm like 17. I don't know what a fucking cyst it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And they're like, the doctor will come talk to you. So I'm like, okay. So then sat, still crying. And my mum's like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And then I was like, Mum, can you come in? And anyway, a doctor came and talked to me and they were like, you've got a large ovarian cyst that we need to remove like ASAP. So anyway, long story short, I had to go in and get it operated on. But when it came out, it was the size of a football.
Wow.
So they actually had to take my left fallopian tube and my left ovary completely out.
Right.
But the other one was polycystic. Can't say
yeah.
that word. So they did say to me they're like, listen, your chances of conceiving are pretty slim. So I was like, but to get all that information at 17,
That's
you don't
insane.
digest.
You
Yeah,
don't.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're like, oh, I'm not thinking about that. Like,
So I had to like kind of be in hospital and I was in recovery. So I've literally got a scar. So they told me it would be keyhole surgery. And you sign a form to basically sign your life away that if
Yeah.
anything happens, you're fine with it. And I remember waking up and they came round and there was 10 junior doctors and they're like, listen, can we assess you while you've got this? And I'm kind of sitting there like, I don't really want to be, like I've just woke up, but she literally told me that they had to make an incision from my belly button right down to my pubic bone
Jeez.
in front of all these people.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, okay.
So I'm like, I'm crying because I'm
Yeah.
like, my whole body is like ruined. And at that
Yeah.
age, I wasn't thinking about the fertility at 17, but I'm like, you've just sprung this on me. So then, yeah, they basically said to me that it was too big for keyhole. So by the time it was out, it was like 20 centimetres by 13.
That's wild.
So they had to remove everything as well. So I was like, right, okay, that's fine. And then just the recovery from that
I can
alone
imagine.
was like horrendous. But I think as well, I just wasn't in a good place. I think part of me, when you know something's wrong with your body, like I knew there was something wrong. And it annoys me because see, if they had listened, because of my age, they just
Yeah, they
totally
thought
took
it
it
was
for
fine.
granted. And I think it's annoying because as a woman especially, I don't know how men would feel because I've not got a willy, but as a woman, you know that there is something wrong.
Yeah.
And I just think the amount of times because of your age that you were just shot off.
Yeah.
We hear all these horror stories of like people not getting taken seriously,
Yeah.
particularly women, and then they later lose. Like it goes to like the extreme where they've lost their life and they look back at the track record and that sort of stuff. So it's insane. Like
I
to
think
go for that.
age as well has nothing to do with anything.
No. It's like, oh, you were too young to get that. And
Yeah.
It's like, well, not really. Like, anyone can get it.
Like, I think the good thing about women is, like, see what happened to Jade Goody. Like, that was, like, a monumentous thing for women because it was the first time that they had lowered the age of getting a smear test. Because if that had been caught earlier, then she would have survived.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's just, if you feel there's something wrong with your body, just keep pushing it.
You trust your gut.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Definitely.
But yeah, they told me that again, my chances of fertility were really low. So like I never had a period after that.
Mm-hmm.
So they were putting me on the pill to try and regulate my period.
Yeah.
And so I never had a period for years.
Yeah.
And then I was working in a salon, and do you know what I mean? I just felt like really crampy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is horrendous. And I went to the toilet and TW, but there was like lots of blood, but it was like tissue as well. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my God, what's wrong? And I went up to A&E because I was like, it's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
And they were basically like, the lining of your womb hasn't been shedding the way a normal period would. Mm-hmm. And this is just...
Backlog.
Yeah. And I was 20 at this point, and then 2 weeks later, they were literally like, you're pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, so a lot of chapters then for that to that. So going through it, first of all, is that what made you kind of... Was there like a different appreciation to like your health and that sort of stuff coming out of that, and that's why maybe you chose a career path? Like, I'm going to start working in a salon as opposed to continuing with uni?
No, probably not. See, to be honest, like at that age, you're just wanting beer money, aren't you? Like realistically, you're just kind of wanting to have fun. And I was always so creative, and to me, I just loved playing my hair. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's why I wanted to go down that route of just going back into a salon. Like, I think it's where I just fitted in. Yeah. Like, it worked for me.
Practical. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, I think being able to do your creativity. Like, I remember doing my first haircut, and it was like this short, funky style. And I remember speaking to a stylist at the time, and he's like, if that's your first haircut, he's like, you're destined for this. Yeah. Because I hate conforming to what the norm would be. Like, everyone else would want to do like a one-length cut. Yeah. Mm-hmm. One-length cut.
I was going to say, is that what the haircut's called? One-length cunt.
No, I like the right cunt. But I was like, no, I always wanted to be different. Yeah. But I was that kind of kid. So I've always been the same. Like, I would always want to be different. Yeah. Someone else is doing something, I'll do the opposite. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So what's the salon journey like for you from that point to where you are now? So
yeah, I started working I worked in a salon in the West End. And again, it was good until it wasn't. Mm-hmm. And I'll forever be grateful, because I think with anything, you learn a lesson on every kind of thing that you do. And for me, I learned how not to run a business. And I think that can sometimes be more valuable.
Absolutely.
And again, that's not me. I wouldn't talk bad about anyone or about how anyone runs their business, but there's certain things that the way I was treated, or the way that I would just take on and be like, I would never make someone feel like that or put someone in that position, or this is what I would do differently. And I think that is so much more valuable than not knowing how to do something. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think you learn.
It's like you're learning from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm. And then it just makes you a better person, a better business person. Like, no shade. And again, like, I've never left anywhere on bad terms. It was literally like, this no longer fits me. Yeah,
chapter's closing. On to the next one. Did you ever think that you would run your own place one day? Was that ever on the cards? No?
It was literally never in my kind of locker. It was never anything I wanted to do. And I went self-employed after having my first child, just purely out of necessity. Because I think when you have a baby, it gives you something, like you've got this fuel where you're like, I want to provide for this child, but I also want to make this child proud. Mm-hmm. And I think as well, as I said, because what would have been classed as a young mum, whereas on paper I wasn't, and my body was obviously of age, but I did not want to be a stigma of being a young mum. Yeah. I didn't. Mm-hmm. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to work my arse off. And I did. I worked right up to 40 weeks pregnant. And I went back to work after 5 weeks. And I just worked. Yeah. And then it got to the point where I think I realised after having Ruby that the way I was being treated in that space and the money I was getting for the job that I was doing, I was like, this isn't working out. Mm-hmm. So I had £1,500 overdraft. and I found a small room to rent. And don't get me wrong, at first I did go for interviews, and I went for 3 interviews, and I was like, fucking hell, she's bad, but these guys are worse.
Yeah.
I was like,
So it's just like,
I
this
can't
is
work
the
for
grass
anyone.
isn't always greener.
No,
You're
I
like,
was like,
shit.
I can't work for any of these people. And then I was like, okay, let me go. And I'd looked on Gumtree, and it was literally like small room to rent, £150 a week.
Mm-hmm.
And something in my gut was just like, fuck it, why not?
Just try it.
Like, just try it.
Mm-hmm.
And normally I would never act like that. Like, everything was like
Planned.
planned. So I went to go and see it, and it was a cupboard. Like, when I say a cupboard, it was a fucking cupboard. But I was like, fuck it, we'll make it
Try
work.
it, yeah.
So I had my £1,500, and I went and got a second-hand backwash and 1 second-hand chair. And I thought, I'll just make this work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agreed to it, signed the lease, and then I paid the kind of first week's rent, and I was like, I'll just make it work. I didn't take any numbers because of data protection. I was like, I don't want to take any phone numbers. I don't want to do anything out of malice as well. And
Or like away from where you were working.
yeah, because I
get
thought
you.
if I take my clients' names and numbers, it then becomes a criminal offence. So I was like, yep, I don't want to start my new self-employed journey.
Yeah.
But it was funny because of my name as well, like Instagram wasn't really about, it wasn't about actually, it was just
Yeah.
Facebook. So because of my name, a lot of my clients did find me. They would
Yeah.
just type it into Facebook. And so a lot of them did come over. But I remember I was in the town and I bumped into one of my clients that obviously I hadn't seen. And I said, how are you? She's like, I've got an appointment with you on Saturday. And I says, no, you don't. And she says, what do you mean?
Yeah.
She's like, what happened to you the last 2 times? And I'm like, what? I says, I left. I was like, I've left like 3 months ago. She's like, oh my God, they kept telling me that you'd phoned in sick last minute. So like
So they're
my
using
old
the name,
boss
yeah.
never, like, and
Oh.
she did it to all my clients, just
Yeah.
said, oh, she'll be in, and then on the day would then
That's so
swap it
bad.
about. To the point, I had a client who phoned me and she's like, I have phoned 5 Jades. Is this the Jade that used to work at Daggett? I
Just
was like,
mini
yes.
impersonators.
She's like, I have literally had 4 appointments in that salon, and every time they make up a different excuse.
Yeah.
She's like, I then just used my brain
Yeah,
and
to be
thought,
like,
you're
she's
not here. So yeah, a lot of my clients, and I have actually got a lot of my clients still to this
Yeah.
day
Oh, that's amazing.
that still come to me.
Yeah.
And I think I'll always be so grateful for that, because I think the hair I was producing then
Yeah.
and the hair I'm producing now,
Yeah. it's
do you know
like
what I mean? I'm
so
forever
different.
grateful. I'm like, it's not just, it's me.
How many weeks pregnant were you when you do all this?
No, I'd had.
Oh, you
Ruby.
were,
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that's
Yes,
even
I'd
more
had
impressive,
Ruby.
yeah.
So I stayed, and again, I worked with someone right up until 40 weeks. And then I just, when I went back to work, I went back to work working for someone.
Wow.
And I feel like I was gaslit into going back.
Yeah.
And again, I think I was just very, okay.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
And I was too
impressionable.
nice
Yeah,
that
yeah.
then I realised you're taking so much advantage of me
uh-huh.
that's when the penny dropped, and I was like, no, hold on a minute.
I always find like that personality trait is always better served to do your own thing, because like you can still get taken advantage of, and I'm sure it's happened in your entrepreneurial business journey as well, but it's your thing and you're responsible for it, and that's probably what's best, which is crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, like I soon realised I was like, I can't work for anyone. And I think sometimes you know that, I think I knew that at school. Like I was always so entrepreneurial, and I think when I was younger, it was very frowned upon. Like I would go and pick weeds from people's gardens, chap their door and sell them to them. Now, to me, fucking entrepreneur. Like,
Yeah, love it.
whereas my mum would get me into trouble. I'd
Yeah.
have my arse smacked. I'd have to go back round and give
Give your
people their
money
money. But I'm like, who's the fucking mug?
Like, who's
It's
buying
not me.
weeds? Like,
Who's buying their own
yeah,
weeds?
I know.
Like, and
Not
I'm
just
like,
weed your own
they
weeds.
obviously knew, and they were just like, oh, just give her the money.
Yeah.
But my mum pure made me go back and do it, because like my youngest Scarlett is so entrepreneurial like me. And sometimes like she was like, oh, I've made these bracelets, I'm going to sell them at school. And part of me was like, I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but
I'm just
I'm
You
here
do
for
you.
it. I'm here for it. How much are you going to charge?
Yeah.
Put it up a couple of quid.
do you know what? See, during the summer holidays, the first day of the summer holidays, they were like, what can we do? What can we do? And I'm like, oh, fuck, what can we do? And I'm like, and they'd mentioned something about a lemonade stand. Obviously, they all watch YouTube and it's all
Yeah.
American. And I'm like, this is going to be the best lemonade stand. I was like, fuck it, aye, come on. Went down to Asda, got the big kind of massive
Yeah.
like things with the taps. Now, I got juice that was like that Don Simon, you know, the stuff that you would get the sangria, but it's like lemonade and all that. So I bought 2 of them, which were £1 each, filled them up, and these guys made £30. I ate £30. Scarlett, there's a garage at the end of my road. Scarlett went to the garage. Obviously, they're not going to say no to an 8-year-old. She was running back. She's like, I've got more. They made £30, £15 split. And I'm like, not even a fucking hour's work.
Yeah, that's great.
Great margins. You're like, I need cut hairdressing.
There was a guy that came up, exactly. I'm just going to make lemonade now. Fucking game's up, okay. But there was a guy that came up and he obviously just gave them a £5. And I'm like, actually, do you know what? You could probably pure endorse your kids to sell your stuff.
Playing the emotions and heartstrings.
Like there was someone that said no, but you know what? Me and my next door neighbour, we were like, said no.
No, look at them, look how
as a one way, no bother, cheapskate. Make them feel guilty.
We take cards.
Apple Pay.
That's funny. What was it like for you and your family and your household? So you got brothers and sisters?
Yeah, so I've got an older brother and an older sister.
What was like the family dynamic growing up then? If it wasn't like, is this where it gets maybe? This is where it gets deep, is it?
So, do you know, it's funny. My mum was a single mum. So my sister was really ill when we were growing up. Now she was really ill. So she had, at 4, she was diagnosed with hepatitis because she was down on Carnoustie Beach and she picked up something and she ended up catching hepatitis from it.
Oh.
So my mum had to get like a petition to get the beach all cleaned and like a proper sewage system. But Michelle is actually the longest living person in Britain with a liver transplant. Because most people that get a liver transplant are alcoholics or whatever. And
so she needed that at 4?
She was on the list at 4.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
So she had 3 operations because I think like she died twice and they like brought her back to life, but she was waiting for, you see, like £7 so you get the pager. Like my mum and dad literally had a pager and they were just waiting for the right thing. So she had 2 operations and they both failed after like her liver just didn't accept it. So I think by the time she got round to, I think she was 6 by the time that she actually got, it was like a French girl had died in a motorcycle accident and it was a perfect match. Same blood, same everything. So, I mean, now Michelle's like 41 and it is like now her own liver. So your liver's the only thing that kind of regenerates. But at that time, my mum and dad had kind of split because they got together really, really young. I think it was a shotgun wedding.
Right.
And when they had Michelle, because when they say they got married and Michelle was born, I'm like, the math ain't math. And I think back then you had to. Like, it was very West Side Story because my mum was so schemy. Like, my mum grew up in, like, a 1-bedroom flat with, like, 7 of them. Like, she stayed on a proper scheme, whereas my dad had, like, a 5-bedroom house in the 70s. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just West Side Story, but
different
split.
sides, yeah.
So I think as well, my gran never liked my mum because she was like, she's not good enough for my son type vibe. So I think they ended up having to get married out of necessity. And then they had my brother. So there's 3 years between Michelle and Christopher. And then there's 3 years between me and like all of us. And I think after all that happened with Michelle, I just think the force field of that.
Pressure.
And I think having a child, so because Michelle was so ill, there was no hospital up here that would take her. So she was actually down in Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
So I think they had to swap places. And then they already had like another baby.
Yeah.
But I was the result of one night where Michelle had, like, it all worked. And I think they were celebrating. And then, so like my mum and my dad had never been together when, like, since I was born. They were never together. They just co-parented really, really well.
Yeah.
Until they didn't. So I think the dynamic of the household was always nice up until a certain point, and then I don't know, it just got a bit much and a bit wild. I think as well, like my mum she always worked. My mum had a work ethic where she's like, I grew up like this. I don't want my kids to grow up like that. And my mum always had like her own business. Like she was totally like boss bitch vibes. Like I totally looked up to my mum. Like at the age that my mum is now, I'm like, my mum was in her prime. Like she had her own company. We had like a nice house, like everything that my mum had done herself.
Yeah.
So I always looked up and admired that. And then I think my dad was great. My dad worked offshore and he was there until he wasn't. I think when he met my stepmum, it became like there was room for us and then there wasn't room for us.
Yeah.
And do you know what's funny? Because it's not until I'm older that I actually realised how much of an effect like him just not really bothering had on me.
Yeah.
And it's not until you actually be like, oh, wow, right, okay. To have a dad who was a great dad to then not.
Yeah.
And I had a stepsister and I always remember being so jealous of their relationship.
Yeah.
And it really, I think I would always be like, oh, okay. But then I would go home and I would cry and I'd get so upset because I'd be like, why is he like that with someone who's not his?
Yeah.
Like, it would be like, I'm here. Like, why do... And I always used to think it's me because I'm very similar to my mum. My mum's a fucking hothead. And I thought, is it me?
Yeah.
But then I thought he was the same with my brother and my sister.
Yeah, so it's not.
And my sister is like the nicest person in the world. Like she is, you couldn't say a bad word about my sister. And then I soon realised I was like, no, he's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, and as much as I could say, was it my stepmom? Like, if you're a man and you choose to do that, that's no one else's responsibility other than you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's their choice to do that.
So I think, yeah, after that, and then my mum would... She would work really hard during the week, and I always remember my mum never being there, and she wasn't. And my mum's point of view was like, I need to work and I need to give these kids what I didn't have.
Yeah.
Because we had like an 8-bedroom house at some point. My mum had a massive cleaning company, and she had like a big unit in an estate, like, but she was never there.
It's like an OG business owner before like social media, like business
Yeah.
mentors and networking events and that. She's literally probably paving the way herself and trial and error to find out.
Well, she grafted, and now I understand and I can empathise with what she was going through. But I think my mum literally was never at any sports day. She was never at anything like... She was just never there. Like, we would have to make our own dinners, or she would put it in the freezer, and then like... And obviously she was there.
Yeah.
But you only remember
That's
the
what you remember.
times that she
But
wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think she'll have a totally different view of that than what I will. And I think everyone has a perspective. But our house was always busy and it was always wild. Especially like my brother's friends, I feel like they just lived in our house. Because we had like a big 8-bedroom house. So like
Yeah,
every
so
weekend,
It's like-
one would be in one room, the one would be in the
Yeah.
other. And yeah, it was just always busy. But I think as well, like my mum would always go out every weekend. And it then just got to, and it's not until you're older you realise you're like, oh my God, my mum's a fucking nightmare as well. Like, she can't drink.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's when you realise that's not normal. And it's not until you're older that you're like, actually.
Yeah, there's something different
Yeah.
should be here.
So I think as well, I've never actually really told anyone this, but so my mum was like an alcoholic and a really, really high functioning alcoholic. And I think it's probably took, to be honest, I don't even know if she would admit it herself.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that was a lot to deal with, because that's a lot of, not, is it trauma? Yeah, it probably is trauma, to be fair, because some of the things that you see and some of the things that you do, it like isn't normal. Like when I talk to people that maybe haven't went, I'm like, oh, is that not normal? Like, were you not,
like, oh, is that
were the
not what
police
you've
not
done?
called every weekend at your house? No,
Yeah,
like it was mental. And again, I think it's so different because my mum had money. It was never, yeah. Whereas if she was back in the scheme or she was in a house, it would literally be so, what's the word, like
Stereotype type
Yeah,
thing.
so
So stereotype.
stereotype of an alcoholic who doesn't have a job, who don't
Yeah.
do anything, they're just kind of
Whereas
off the
because
rails.
it's money, it's wine.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like COVID, I know I'm skipping forward, but like it was really apparent to me in COVID, and it annoyed me how much people would normalise drinking wine during the day and thingy, because
It probably brought back those memories almost for you.
oh, like it got worse. Like literally, this is probably when it all came to light. And then I thought maybe she'll realise that she's got a problem, because actually in 2021, I got a phone call from I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, right, as I suppose most business owners do. And I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I woke up to 15 missed calls from my sister, from random numbers, from everything. So I listened to the one from my sister, and she's like, hi, could you come? Mum's had a fall. Now, I would get a phone call like this every other week. My mum had a fall, or she'd fallen out with someone, or something had happened. And whether it involved the police or whether it involved an ambulance, there was always something. And I had a voicemail. So I said to Michelle, yeah, that's fine, I'll be there. And I listened to the voicemail before I got in the car. And it was the hospital. And they were like, it's just like, your mum's had a fall, right? So everyone kept saying she's had a fall. So I just assumed it was like a trip or something. And so I drive to her house, and she stayed in St Vincent Crescent. So like in the West End, it's like the lovely flats that are on the corner, like looking onto the hydro. And I've drove around the corner, and I could see police tape, everything cordoned off. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm trying to get into it. And they're like, you can't get in. I'm like, what do you mean I can't get in? I said, where's my mum? They're like, no one told you? And I was like, no one's told me. I looked down the street, my sister is like pacing, not knowing what to do. And she's like, I don't know what's going on. So I grab my sister, and I try and figure out what's happening. So I phone the hospital again. I'm like, can you let me know what's happened? And they're like, your mum had a fall, and she's in a coma. So I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, she's in ICU. I'm like, well, can I come up and see her? And they're like, you can come to the hospital, but like you might not get in to go and see her. So I've tried to phone my brother, and I can't get through to him. So I'm like, right, fuck it, me and Michelle will just go up to the hospital. And I eventually got in to go and see her. And honestly, I don't know if you've ever seen someone in ICU, but fucking hell, it's a horrible, horrible place to be. And she was just like that, covered in blood, everything. And basically, she was drunk, smoking a cigarette out her window, and she fell out her window.
Jeez.
And she broke every bone in her body. Now, she is still alive, but she literally is now in a wheelchair because of something so stupid.
Yeah.
And I think it's heartbreaking because my mum would never see how everything else would impact everyone else.
Yeah.
But again, I've never told anyone this. Like, I got on with my life and I do everything. But for the past 4 years, I've had to then care for, like, my mum in a wheelchair.
Yeah, it's like another full responsibility.
A full-time job. And again, my mum was in hospital for a full year and a bit. And then she was out, and then she was back in, and then she was out. And I think it's, like, to me, I don't have a relationship. Like, I look at alcohol as, like, I'll have a drink now and again. But I look at that and it gives me the fear because I'm like, is that hereditary?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to... So, like, I would never drink in the house or drink anywhere. And if I go out, I'll go out and have fun. And then that's me. I can drink for 3 months and then not drink again because that gives me the fear.
In your head,
and my mum is in, like, a better place now. But I'm like, what is it taking to
get her to see.
To get her to do that. And I think as well, when she was in the hospital, they were giving her long tech and short tech, which I don't know if you know, is basically, like, you see, like, Oxycontin.
Oh, okay.
So that's basically our UK version. Yeah, it's a pure opioid. It's literally Oxycontin, but in the UK. So it's an opioid, and it's literally going from one thing to the other. So she was on that for so long that I tried to query it, and I'm like, I don't really want her on that. If she's went from being an alcoholic to then this, I was like, there's no relief or there's no fixing anything. Yeah. And see the fight I had to, they wouldn't get her off it. And I fought so much because I'm like, I want to help her. This isn't helping her because she's then going to become addicted to opioids. Yeah. And no one listens to you. See, because my mum was compos mentis.
They were just saying,
anything I would say, my mum would overwrite that. So I'm like, I'm trying and I'm trying. Like, I remember when she got out of hospital, I was like, look, Mum, please, can you not take these? And I remember having to hide them. And obviously she's in a wheelchair, I had to put them on top of the fridge.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I know she can't
reach,
get there.
Like, yeah.
But I'm like, at what point do you have to do that?
Yeah.
Like, that's harrowing.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, again, she's fine and stuff now, but it's been a massive...
How's the relationship with the two of you now?
Do you know what? It's funny because I'll always love my mum. And I think my mum has always been her own worst enemy, that she's pushed every single person that's in her life out of her life. And I literally probably, at this moment in time, me and the girls are probably all that my mum's got.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll always... I mean, I owe my mum my life, literally. But I do think sometimes I've had to learn to take a step back, and not out of like malice or just for my own sanity and for my own, what's the word? Like, yeah, for my own sanity and my own mental health. Sometimes I do need to take a step back from my mum because it can be a lot. Like, she was in hospital 2 weeks ago for something. And I had to say to her, I was like, I'm not being mean. I don't have the energy to come up and see you. Like, I don't have the time and I don't have the mental headspace. And it's not me being malice, but when my mum's in the hospital, I'm the only person that's there. Like, I need to go and get her washing. Like, and I know it sounds so trivial, but when you've got everything else on top of that, having to then add on 2 trips to go and just do washings and go and do stuff like that, like, which I know the sounds makes me sound like an arsehole, but when you like, the full picture is, sometimes it's a lot to be in that environment. And especially when you're trying to be, I'm quite a positive person, but I'm also a realistic person. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't never say I'm negative, but I would say I'm really realistic. Yeah. Like, to me, when my mum was in hospital, I'm like, what's the probability? Yeah. Like, is she going to die? Like,
you just want to know.
Yeah, I would rather know the worst case scenario, because then I can work from that. Yeah. Like, tell me the worst case scenario, and then I can work out the good.
Yeah, work backwards.
It's funny how traits are passed down, though. Like, you can tell your work ethic and your drive for success and all this sort of stuff. It's like that comes from your mum as well. What's it like then becoming a parent? Was that always at the front of your mind, or have you only started like piecing these pieces together in the last couple of years?
I think I've only started piecing everything together probably, within the last couple of years. I always
like
knew.
With age and wisdom.
So wise now.
That's why I don't know, like starting a business when you're like 20, 21, whatever, like your own salon, like that's mental, because we've only came into this in our 30s really. And I can't imagine starting a business that young and then also becoming a parent that young as well.
For me,
like,
again, I just,
crazy.
I wanted to like provide, and I just didn't want to be a stigma. I didn't want to be on benefits. I didn't want to be what people thought would happen. I didn't want people feeling sorry, because I felt like even my whole way through my pregnancy, everyone's like, oh, poor Jade, she's pregnant. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And I'm like, realistically, it wasn't the path I would have chose for myself. It's not, because I got told I couldn't have kids. I never thought it was possible. So I think sometimes when things are dealt, you just roll with the punches and you just get on with it. And for me, that's what I did. Yeah. And for me, it was fuel for... I would not be as successful in where I am now if I didn't have Ruby at the age I did. Yeah. And I wouldn't. Because it changes your whole dynamic. It changes your whole mindset. Because you are like, and Ruby is my biggest fan. She is my biggest fan. Like, she's nearly 15. Like, she is, like, my biggest cheerleader. And she's came along with me. Like, I grew up
with her.
Yeah. Like, and not in a way of, like, I'm strict. I'm a strict parent with certain things. But there's also things that I'm not. Like, I think you learn things from parenting. And me and Christopher were both the same. We're like, we were brought up 2 completely different ways. Neither's right, neither's wrong. Maybe a bit mental, but let's take the good and let's make our own. So for me, it's not, I'm a massive advocate for not implementing what you were told. Yeah. Like, for me, no one can tell me what to do. Like, you need to explain to me why not to do something, or what the reason why. Right? I always question why. Like, I always have, and I always will. So for me, it would be to say to Scarlett, like, or Ruby, don't cross the road without the green man because you will die.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
giving them
explain, because my mum would just say no all the time. And I'd be like,
but why? I want to do it.
and I would go and do it anyway. And she's
Yeah.
like, I told you. And I'm like, well, no, you didn't. You actually told me no.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to know why.
Whereas I'll say to my kids, look, this is the reason why we're saying this.
Yeah.
You're going to do your own thing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can give you the tools to make you a better person and for you to have an understanding, that's the biggest thing I think you could do to set your kids up.
Absolutely. I've got a vision of Ruby on a podcast and 20 years from now, and she's like, I've got PTSD every time I cross the road.
She's like, Mum kept telling me I'm going to die.
She's like, I feel like I'm going to die every time I cross this road.
Where's the green man?
That's the thing with parenting, though, isn't it? And we're about to have a little girl, and there's lots of things that we're going back and forth with, and I don't think you can get it right because there's always going to be something that probably will cause a knock-on effect that you don't realise.
Oh, and people will put in their opinion and they'll tell you how to, you fucking wing it. Everyone wings life. Like, you wing it and you see what works. What works for one might not work for the other. And again, it's all, you know yourself. Like, you're that baby's parent.
Yeah.
Like, you'll figure out what to do. Like, I always say, like, so many people will give you advice, like, see, when you're pregnant, they'll say, don't do this, don't do that. Especially the older generation, they'll be like, oh, you shouldn't do this or do that. Like, your parents will be like, oh my God, do that. Do what works for you. And that's the thing, is parenting is, you need to make sure they're not arseholes and they don't die. Like, that's your job as a parent.
Yeah.
Everything else takes care of itself.
But everything else is going to happen. Like, there's, you know what it's like being a teenager, right? How many times did we do, and when you look back and you're like, not me, I could have died like 3 times. Like, but my mum never spoke to me about sex. She never spoke to me about drugs because it was just,
You figure out,
they
that
didn't
was
want
you
to talk
figuring
about
it
it.
out.
Yeah. Whereas I've spoke to Ruby about sex, I've spoke to her about drugs, I've spoke to her about her period, I've spoke to her about alcohol, because I'm like, why are people so scared to talk about these taboo subjects? I think our generation as parents aren't. We're very forthcoming because we weren't spoke about it. It was like, oh.
Yeah.
Whereas if I think of some situations that I got into and I'm like, oh, if my mum had told me.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. Like, yeah.
I always said, like, our parents' generation, like, self-awareness or self-development is like a thing of our generation. I don't know if that existed as much with our parents as much, because there wasn't YouTube. They were like, to figure things out, you had to go to the library. Like, we have a device. Like, see, when you think about that, like, that's crazy. Like, how easy it is for us to go on a self-development journey or figure out, it's like, oh, I'm really interested in this particular subject, so I'm going to YouTube it and watch 5 hours of videos on whatever it may be. Like, they didn't have that, and that's why sometimes I feel a wee bit of empathy for them. But it's there. That's that generation, and then this generation will grow. Who knows what the next one will be like?
Who knows what PTSD will get.
What PTSD will have.
Yeah, but I feel like that generation, they are very woke and they'll get PTSD from like a fucking leaf blowing.
So,
do you know what I mean?
Being like, if you get anything of your kids growing up in the generation that they're in just now that you're worried about, and how you try to combat that a wee bit?
So I'm really worried about how soft they are. So I try and give Ruby a wee bit of leeway with like walking about. Like, I know people like her age that are kids her age, like the parents will be like, oh, I'm not letting them do that, or I'm not letting them do that. I think it's really important to let your kids do something because they're always going to be all right. Like, I think people live in fear because they think that the child catcher is literally going, the child catcher doesn't want a 14-year-old. Like, realistically, the child catcher isn't going for 14-year-olds that are walking down to the shop around the corner. Like, I think you need to give them that, like,
independence.
I walked to school when I was like 6 on a main road that didn't have a pavement.
Yeah.
Like, it was just normalised. And I think sometimes people can be too mollycoddled that actually, when it comes to them, you know what it's like in the real world, it's a horrible place. And I'm trying to explain to Ruby, like, there's certain things where I'll allow her to do because she'll be like, oh, my friends aren't allowed to do that. But I'm like, I know firsthand that strict parents raise sneaky kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of Ruby's friends, if their parents are strict or whatever, and she'll tell me about it, and I'm like, Ruby tells me everything.
That's what you
everything.
want. Yeah.
And that's what I want. Do you know what's really sad? There was a boy in her class in the summer, and again, it was something to do with text. I don't know the full in and outs, and I wouldn't want to divulge into that. But long story short, that wee boy killed himself during the summer holidays. And I thought, at that age, and I thought the parents must be like, that is the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
Yeah.
And all you would be sitting back and be like, what could I have done?
What have I done? Like, what can they have?
And I think they live in their heads, like Ruby's had counselling and stuff like that for like grief, and like there's a lot of things that I think schools are great and they'll open up that if people want to talk.
Yeah.
But I think it's so important to have a safe space for your child to be able to talk to you about anything. And whether that's the stuff that you might feel uncomfortable with, it's the stuff that if they're coming to you asking you anything. I remember at 10, Ruby asked me what cum is. And I'm like, I don't really want to tell my 10-year-old what cum is.
But it's here.
My rule of thumb was if she's old enough to ask the question, she's old enough to get the answer.
Yeah.
And I would never lie to my kids.
Yeah, you don't want to make something up either.
No. Like, if my kids, when they first came to me and was like, I take it Santa's not real, I'm not going to then say, like, if they've came to me and said that, then they're old enough to get the answer that I'm not going to lie to them. And in my household, we've always said, you'll get in trouble for lying than you will for doing the thing that you've done. I says, because if we know what you've done, we can fix it. I says, if we don't know what you've done or what's happened, we can't fix it and we can't help you. So I think it's just having a safe space that, I mean, my kids are so fucking privileged. So privileged. And it's funny because I'm trying to raise independent girls and Christopher is raising princesses.
Oh, right, is he? This is interesting, yeah.
Princesses. He'll do everything for them. And I'm like, you're a fucking mug. You're a mug. So I'll say, Scarlett, can you go tidy your room? 2 minutes later, she'll go, Daddy.
Can you tidy my room?
And I'm like, no, don't you dare. Don't you dare. And he's like, don't you shout in my way.
Like, it's okay, it's just girls.
But I think that's so nice because as well, part of me is like, that's all I wanted when I was
literally about to ask you, like, what was something that maybe you wanted from your dad that you never grew up with?
That exact thing of being able to go to your dad and ask your dad for something. Like, I used to get so jealous when my friends would moan about their dad. I'm like, your dad's here.
Yeah, like, enjoy it.
Yeah. Like, I remember, I must have been about 16, 17, and I'd asked my dad, I asked my mum for money for a tea in the park ticket and she said no. I was like, fine, I'll ask my dad. And I remember asking my dad, and obviously my dad would pay maintenance, but he would pay it to us because my mum was like, I don't need the money.
Yeah.
So he would pay it to us until we were of age where we were leaving. So he said to me, I'll transfer you the money. He's like, but I'll take it off your last maintenance check.
Transactional, yeah.
And I'm like, wow. Like that, to me, I was like, that's my dad.
Yeah. Like that.
And I remember when I was doing up the shop, I was so skint, and I'd asked for, I think I'd said to him, listen, have you got £150 I can borrow to pay the joiner? I need to pay him today and I'll give you it back tomorrow. And when I got the payment through, it was like £150 loan. Wow. Never asking you for anything ever again.
Yeah. Like, just making it clear, I want this back.
Yes.
Yeah, like.
And so to me, I'm like, and Christopher is so generous with the girls. Like, they never want for anything, but I also want them to understand that they are in a position that they should be grateful for everything that they've got.
Yeah.
And I think that goes down to everything. Like, sometimes even if Ruby's sad about something, and I'm like, Ruby, I says, I'm not unvalidating your feelings, but I said, just take a step back and just look at the perspective. Because I says, there'll be kids that you go to school with that are abused, that have been raped. Like, there's so many other avenues, and it's not taking away or unvalidating your feelings, but just sometimes I think you need to take a step back and just have a reality check. It's the same as something happens to us. You're like, actually, I'm alive, I'm here.
Yeah. Like, you need to be like, everything's fine. Like, we're okay. No one's died. We're good. Like,
so I do kind of try and I always, like, Ruby is really into moddies and she loves debating. And I always say to her, like, it's good to have an opinion. It's so healthy to be able to have your opinion. I says, but it's also so healthy to be able to see other people's version and let other people have their opinion as well. I says, because as much as if you want to argue black is white, I says, someone else has got that same point. And sometimes just taking a step back and seeing it from two sides of the story. Because I think with anything or anyone that's done good has also done bad, if you look at it. And I think it's just being able to flip the narrative of, I'm a massive advocate for not using, oh my God, they, like as a collective. Like sometimes if Christopher's explaining something or Ruby's explaining something, they'll do it as a collective. And I'm like, no, one person.
Yeah, it's
Or
generalisation.
three. Yeah, generalising. Like I hate that. I always like take a step back and be like, you can't generalise anything because there's so many different perspectives of something. I think you always need to be open to that.
It sounds like you and Chris have got a good relationship then. Is that like you?
We have got an amazing relationship. Like I honestly could not have asked for a better husband. Like we don't argue, and I'm not in that sense of being like we're one of those couples that don't. We literally don't argue. Like I'm the type of person, if something annoys me, he'll be the first to know. Like literally, I would never let anything fester. It would be something that I would be like, this is annoying me. This is X, Y, and Z. And don't get me wrong, like our marriage, like, we have had our problems. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying we're like the perfect marriage, but I wouldn't be able to do all the stuff I've done if I didn't have the support from him, because he's very much been like, you go and do what you need to do. He's like, I've got the house, I've got everything, like I'll sort this. You go and do what you need to do. And I think as well, I'm such a independent boss bitch, like masculine energy.
Yeah.
And when I'm around him, I'm like a daft wee girl.
Okay, yeah,
like he allows me to just like, and it's such a weird feeling because I can go and have so much on during the day, and see when I get overwhelmed, see if I'm just in his presence, he grounds me.
Yeah.
And it's a weird feeling to meet someone, because we are chalk and cheese, we are so different. He's so laid back and I'm fucking mental. Like, but I couldn't be with someone that was like me.
Yeah.
So I think we are so yin and yang that it actually just works, but he can just ground me. And it's funny because he'll laugh. He'll be like, you would have 17 businesses if I wasn't here.
You're just like, I'm going to do another. And he's like, should we just, let's chat about
He's
this
a voice
first.
of reasoning sometimes when you go home and it's
And
like,
some things, I'm like,
have you thought about this? It's like, I mean, that's a good point that you're bringing up. So speaking about businesses then, let's get on. So your journey of going from back to what we were speaking about there with the cupboard that you rented, it, how does that evolve then? So what you've said so far, I would imagine that the reason you've got so many customers because you were really good at what you do. You had a gift, if you would say that, but you also cared enough to keep developing. How does that evolve from there then? Yeah,
I think people buy into you as a person. I think that's a massive part of it. But I think as well, the passion, the grit, the determination, I think helps massively. And again, it just grew. Like my clients would come, I would then get new clients. They would tell their friends. And back then I didn't advertise. To be fair, I've not really advertised my whole life for my business up until like now.
Yeah. So it's like referrals?
Yeah, it would just basically be like a friend would come or someone in their office had went and then told whoever. And then it just grew to the point, I was in there for 18 months. And I was like, this is too busy, it's too small, like I need to move somewhere else. And
were you making good money as well? Was this the first time
I was
that
making
you're like,
the best money I'd
I
ever
was going to
made.
say, like the part that we're brushing over here is 40 odd hours a week for basically minimum wage or maybe a wee bit more. Couple of tips, I would imagine, to everything is mine.
Like honestly, I even say this to this day, like I made so much more money back then because once you paid out your rent and your stock, that was it. Everything was mine. I'm like, I made nothing. Yeah. And it was great, and a lot of it was cash. Everyone would pay cash, so cash was fucking king. I had fucking down my life. I had a beautiful flat in like Denniston and Finlay Drive, and I just had a good life.
Yeah,
I did. But I think as well, it just got bigger. So your dreams get bigger, and then you're like, oh, actually, I'll need to expand. I'll need to get a bigger space, and then it then costs more money, and then things like that. So I then moved up to Bath Street, where we are now, and I took on. So it was like a day spa, and I took out one of the front rooms. I took that out and rented that, so that whole room was mine. Again, backwashes. It had 5 chairs now, so I was like, "Oh fuck!" Right now I need to. So I was like, "Right now I need to get staff." So then I'd got some staff, and again, it just grew. It just grew and grew and grew, and I was there for 10 years, and then the girl, Emma, who's my friend, she'd owned the day spa. She was like, listen, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I said, right. And she's like, if you want, you can talk to the lawyer and the landlord. Lord.
I was going to say the landowner as well.
Say the Land Rover. Speak to the Land Rover. To basically see like if you want to take it on. So I'd spoke to the lawyer and I basically just said, look, I'm happy to take this on for the same cost as what like Emma was paying. And then that's where I was like, taking on this massive space. I was like, this can't just be a salon. It's too big. And then again, I was like, I can't then be a beautician because I don't know a fucking thing about beautician. Yeah. And I don't think you could run a business in that industry if you don't know what you're doing. Like, I know some people do, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, because a lot of, like, I feel like a lot of the go-to, if you've got a hairdresser salon, a lot of the go-to is, like, right, we'll get a beautician in, we'll get, like, a nails, whatever in. That's kind of, like, the go-to move, but obviously that's not what you...
No. So I did a lot of research and I thought, do you know what's missing? So there was a place down in London, and it's a shame because it's actually not there anymore, and it was called the Hunter Collective. And to me, it was basically a freelance suite where people were self-employed and they paid rent by the day.
Right.
And I was like, that's a fucking cracking idea. And I says, and there's nothing like that north of the border. There was nothing in Manchester. There was nothing in Scotland. Nothing. And I thought, I've got all this space. And I thought, I'm going to take a bit of their concept. I says, because that is a cracking idea. And I thought, what a kind of massive space to be able to use. So then the more I looked into it, I was like, there's also no training academy in Scotland. Like, that's in the city centre or the offers. Like, for me, when I learn, I like to learn practical and theory separately.
Yeah.
If I'm in the same room all day, I'm bored as fuck. I can't be in this same room, eat, do everything in that same room. My brain just doesn't comprehend it. So to me, that's why it was so important when I was building the collective and building a training academy that we had those separate rooms so that you could get a chance to flow. Because I wanted to think of every angle for how people could learn and absorb the best information. So everything with the collective was purposely built and purposely set out because I'd sat meticulously and was like, right, what is missing?
Yeah.
And anywhere for training, the only option was like a hotel conference room. And I was like, right, so how much are they charging? What are they providing? Because I was like, I need to make sure, one, it's of a compatible rate, but two, I need to scream it from the rooftops, like, this is why you should pick me.
Yeah, over like a Hilton or something.
Yeah. And but I didn't know the first thing about sales. So to me, I outsourced my sales because I thought, I had a friend and she was amazing at sales. And I was like, do you want a Homer? I says, I'll pay you if you let me know, just as a wee side gig, if you can generate some sales for me. And right enough, she did. And 2 of the companies that she generated still use it to this day.
Amazing.
And I'll forever be grateful to that because I had to outsource that because there's no fucking way. I'd be like, hello, come see my space. Like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to negotiate or anything like that. And I think I've now learnt so much with having that business that I could now do it comfortably. But at that time, first setting up, I was like, I don't want to make a tit of this. Like, this could be amazing. And again, like I said to you, I built it. I got that first, like, I was like, Noah. I was like, I'll build it and then they'll all come. And then no one came. So that's why I was like, right, I need to get
on all this rent.
Yeah, all this money, all this square footage.
You're like, what's
I've got
happening?
fucking no one using it. It's just me.
I was going to ask, like, because obviously we went from kind of like working in a salon to then your full on business. You've outsourced your sales, but where did you learn your business savviness, I guess?
Literally just winged life.
Just
honestly. I can't even, I wish I had the secret sauce. And I don't. Like, one thing I would say that I'm really strict with and has probably changed my mindset on everything is I get up at 5 a.m. because I was so fed up of being like, there's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
There is. It's how you utilise your time. So I think, like, I go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. Like, I switch off my phone. Like, because I used to, I've gone with the days I would be up all night replying to emails and stuff, and I'd be like, no, you need a time off. To be fair, I remember Christopher saying to me, he was like, where do we fit in your life? And I think that to me was a pivotal point because I thought, you've been so supportive and actually what you're saying, it makes so much sense. But sometimes I think if you're just all business, he had a point. He's like, where do we fit in your life?
Was that a bit of an insecurity for you because your mum was almost the same, like she was working in business all the time?
Yeah, like I think as well, I always made sure that, see with the school, I knew I couldn't go to every sports day or go to everything, but I wanted to make sure I did 2 school pickups a week and I did go to what I can go to so that my kids couldn't turn around and say,
You're never there.
Weren't there. So I do try, and still to this day, I do try and be there as much as I can. But I think that's what I didn't. I wanted to be able to, because what's the point in being self-employed if you've not got that freedom to pick your kids up from school?
I think the avenue that you pick is self-employed, very similar to like personal training. It's your time for money, and it's like that is what you've built your reputation on. You then, so having a salon, did you ever have a plan to like do less and less hairdressing then and be more of the business owner side of things, or did that not come?
No, I think that's probably only came this year. And again, that's, you watch loads of stuff and it's like you can't work on your business if you're working in your business.
Yeah.
And I do believe that. And I have this year took a step back with setting up the other business that we'll get into in a minute. I have realised that I'm more valuable if I'm not working behind the chair and I'm working on the businesses from home or doing something else. And I think, again, it's just time is money, but also there's so much that you can get done if you're not in a service-based industry. So I think when you're doing hair, so what I'm now strict with it. If I'm doing hair, I'm doing hair. And then if I'm working on the collective or I'm working on the other business, I'm working on the other business and that's it. And I just divvy up my time that way. Yeah. That works better for me because if I try and do all 3, like I'm not giving 100%.
Yeah.
Like I'm giving 33 and a 30%.
Yeah, and it's just not working.
It's not acceptable. Like I think if you're going to do something, you need to do it properly and you need to do it right. So if that's a case of, right, you need to reassess your time management, then that's what I'll do.
The salon growing then, did you ever train other hairdressers? And
so I trained 2 girls. So one of the girls was actually with me for the full 10 years.
Brilliant.
And she only left. But when I set up the collective, I basically said to the girls, you can go self-employed or you can get made redundant, because at that point I didn't want to have any staff. I wanted everyone to be self-employed. So I was basically like, you can go self-employed or take redundancy. And they all decided to go self-employed. So I was like, right, great. And I would only say probably this past year that I've now took on staff, and I went from having no staff to the collective to now I've got like fucking 6. And I'm like...
So that's a growing pain itself though of the business though.
But I think as well sometimes you're like, it's needed as well.
Yeah.
But part of me is like, I went from being like, I don't want the stress of having staff to now, oh my God, I've got 6.
So it's another job within itself. Like you need to worry about the staff development, make sure they're okay.
And the staff all have different roles as well. See, because the business it's like not just hair, it's like other things. So because everyone's got a different kind of role, it's trying to wear all the hats.
Was that difficult as well, like when you're, I guess, recruiting for these roles and then they're trying to say like, so what will I be doing? It's like, well, you'll be doing this, but you'll also be doing that.
So my assistant who... Oren, who you met yesterday, she started out with me, she wanted to do hairdressing, right? Like,
you've gaslit her, isn't
she was my hairdresser assistant, right? And I think, I've always said to staff, if you come on board, see if it's something that doesn't work for you, you don't know until you've tried it. So just be honest with me. There's no point in wasting your time, no point in wasting my time. So see if it's something that doesn't fit, just come to me. I'm approachable, say to me. And she came to me, she's like, I don't know if this is right for me. And I'd already built up a relationship, and I think at that time it's so hard to find people. And I was like, look,
you hire people's attitude and behaviour, not necessarily the skill sometimes.
No, and she was great. She was always there. Like she was literally behind me if I needed her. Like she was there. And I thought, we've built this relationship. And I'd said to her, okay, I says, I actually need this done. I says, so it's not hairdressing, but do you want to maybe see if there's other, like, if we can fit you in another job role somewhere. She's like, yeah, I'll try that. So literally like 2 years later, she's like, and I'm like, I don't even know what to call her because I'm like, she is like my right hand woman. Like she'll set up the collective for people coming in, but she'll also, if I need her to wash hair, she'll wash hair. Like if I need her to do like things that I need her to do. So I'm like, she is kind of like my PA, but without being wanky and being like my PA.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, oh, right, she must go to sleep and be like, oh my God, like her PTSD from hearing.
I can hear Jade's voice in my head.
Because as well, she's like 18 and she's quiet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, can you do this? And I'm laughing. I'm like, she must fucking hate me, but she's still here.
I think that's the best like thing you can do when you're 18 and starting out. Like you're giving her so much experience that if she went to just a hairdresser's, she would just be doing the hairdressing part, but she's getting to experience everything. And I think you're very open as a business owner. So if she ends up wanting to open her own salon, her own content, whatever it is, like she'll learn so much more from you, which I think is great.
Yeah, and I think as well, I always just wanted to have a safe space for people to feel, because I think sometimes if someone leaves somewhere, it can be always on bad terms. And I've never been that type of person anyway. I've always been like, look, come to me, we can have a chat. There's no need for animosity. Like I've not got any enemies. I've just never been that person. Like who's got time for that?
Yeah, no, you don't.
Like
too busy.
Yeah,
all your businesses.
Exactly. That need to deal with me.
Yeah.
Never mind. I don't give a fuck.
See, running your own salon, obviously, to other people that are looking maybe to go down a similar path, one of the worries is that you develop someone who works for you or works as a self-employed person as part of your business, and then there's a time where they have their own dream and want to have their own salon. How's your lessons been from that journey? Where a lot of clients may leave your, obviously it's set up differently where they were self-employed, and that was probably one of the reasons, I would imagine, because it's an easier model to manage. Now that you've got a staff, are you worried that, I don't think you've got the character or personality trait to get worried about that sort of stuff anyway, but what would you say to people when they're maybe looking to do that?
I think a lot of hairdressers are really old school, and they are still under that assumption that they own their clients. And I think what people need to realise is you don't own the clients that are in your shop. You don't. The clients they can go to whoever they want to go to get their hair done. And I think what business owners need to realise is if you build a really comfortable working environment for your staff or the people that are self-employed that rent a chair from you, or like, people don't want to leave. And I think if you build a space where people don't want to leave, or you leave it open that if they want to go self-employed, they can go self-employed in your place, and you'll nurture that. I've said that to my girls so many times. I says, if you want to work here until you get to a point where you go self-employed, see, at the end of the day, if they're paying rent, they're lining my pocket.
Yeah.
Like, and I think what people need to realise is, yes, they might bring in more when they're employed for you, but they're going to go away anyway.
Yeah.
So why not, if they're going to go self-employed, that they go self-employed and you're still making money from them? And I think that's where people have the misconception that people then become sneaky and being like, oh, I'm going to look for something else, or I'm going to do this. See if you allow a safe space for people to actually be able to come and talk to you. Because everyone has their own dreams and aspirations. And I all my staff, I'll say to them, I know that your dream isn't to work for me in 10 years' time. Because whose dream is that? That's unrealistic. And if you're a business owner and you honestly think the girl that's working for you and been working for you for 5 years, her aspiration for the next 5 years is to still be there, then you're fucking mental.
Nah, it's your ego.
Like,
you're not that
business
important.
isn't for you. Yeah.
And it's even, do you want those type of people? Because are those type of people as ambitious as you want?
No,
like you want
they're
your
not
staff to
gonna
be
grow.
ambitious. You want them to be growing.
I think it's really important that I'll always be spoke about as a good boss. I know that. And I can confidently say that. And that's not an ego trip, but that's because I have been raised by a shit boss. So I have always paid my girls well. They always got paid well. From even 10 years ago when I first started, they always got paid well, because I think it's really important to look after your staff, because then they'll look after you.
Yeah. They'll
look after your working environment. They'll go above and beyond their job role because they know they're appreciated. I think, like, some hairdressers are on minimum wage. I think that's fucking shocking. In this day and age, for such now, we realised after COVID that everyone needed hairdressers. Yeah. So I'm like, for such an artistic trait that some people are still getting paid minimum wage. Yeah. I find that mental. Whereas if you look at trades as a whole, they wouldn't bat an eyelid at paying £250 for a joiner.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it to me, it's you need to flip the coin. I think gone are the days that hairdressing is a low paid job. It's not. It's a good paid job. But what people are stuck in is if you're working for minimum wage and you're working for someone, then no, it's not. You could go and work in Asda and make more money. What is the incentive for someone to do and stand and break your back and get fucking sciatica and get fucking like have to go to a chiropractor? Like it's back breaking work and it's long days. And I think as well, a lot of people offload onto you. And I think sometimes that can be quite, I mean, you want a safe space for people to offload onto you, but that can be quite a lot.
Yeah, it's almost like a therapy session.
Yeah.
Like going to your hairdressers, you just...
I always say
tell
if
them
you
everything.
need therapy, don't go and pay for therapy. Like drive 2 hours, go and get a hairdresser that you don't know and go and get a
Yeah,
blow
that's a
dry.
good shout, yeah. And there's got no
They'll
connections.
listen.
to
No
you.
connections, no
Yeah.
nothing. It's a non-biased opinion.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
Love that.
Honestly, see the amount of things people tell you as well.
You're like,
Oh, I had someone tell me that they were like, they just started swinging and all that. And I'm like, good for you.
Well done, you go for it.
Like, what do you do? Like, what happens?
Like, just tell me more.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Because I was so
Yeah,
intrigued because she was like a wee like woman. Like she looked like
Yeah, not something you'd
yeah.
expect.
She was like in her 50s, 60s, and I was just like, oh, did not expect that. She looked like a wee woman that would have like Mr. Kipling cakes in her cupboard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It
Just a
does,
wee old
like,
lady.
yeah.
And then I'm like,
So innocent.
oh, it's always the innocent ones in it.
You
The
never
dark horses.
expect. I love that.
Oh, like
See,
yeah.
Obviously, we'll move on to like the creative space and all
I
that
know,
in a
I'm
sec.
gonna
But
fucking get
no,
me,
I'm curious why you chose like Glasgow City Centre to like have a place to or for your own salon. Like, was that just the space came up and that's what, or did you have your eyes set on being in the city centre?
Because I was already in the building with the hairdressing, then I was like, this
It's a
is why.
no-brainer.
Yeah. And I also thought, what a perfect location because Bath Street now is so elite. Like, you've got the best plastic surgeons, you've got everything. It was always a really nice business street.
Yeah.
Like, all the local businesses and offices and all that were always on Bath Street. So I think it was always an elite prime location. And I thought, what a perfect space to turn this into something bigger.
See, if you were starting out now, would you buy in the city centre?
Yes.
Still here.
Yeah. I think the city centre for a location like that is perfect because you are close to all the kind of local amenities. You need to be close to a train station and stuff like that, especially for training. A lot of these people are coming up from London.
Yeah.
They're coming from London or like Newcastle or all these places that it needs to be easily accessible for students. So I definitely think with the training academy side of it.
What about Salon? Because you think of like, see, even out here, like your local towns and everything, the local high street is hairdressers, nails, beauticians, and dry cleaning. What else? Turkish
Oh,
barbers.
drug money.
Exactly. So,
Charity shops.
Money laundering.
what would you say? Like, still, the city centre would be a play for?
Yeah, I think people are under the misconception that someone that owns a salon on Airdrie Main Street has to charge less than what someone on Bath Street does, right? And I think this is ludicrous because see if I was to phone a joiner, I'm not going to say, listen, where are you based? Oh, you're based in Airdrie? Oh, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to actually just charge this.
Yeah.
Do you know
Like-
what? I remember like seeing this same personal training days when I went over to work in Wishaw, and I remember someone saying to me, you can't charge that in Wishaw, you need to charge that in Glasgow. And I'm like, the service is the same.
Yeah.
I'm changing their health and fitness journey.
Like this
makes
baffles
no
me.
sense.
No, because I remember I know someone that's got like a salon outside, and they were like, "Oh, I can't charge city centre prices," and I'm like, "But you are the person they are
They're
coming
going
to.
to, yeah.
If you were to do it from a fucking bin,
Yeah.
they would still come to you as a person." And I think some people are so stuck in their ways that I do hope for like Ruby's generation actually that changes, and the mindset is just. You go to someone because you like getting your hair done from them and you like the environment, you like the situation. The price is what the price is. You either pay it or you don't pay it.
Yeah.
And yes, you might get someone that is cheaper, but actually if you look at their worth, they're worth more than that. They're just having to charge that because of their location.
Yeah, it's
Like that
crazy.
makes no sense.
So you're putting the price up just to cover rent, but it's like, why buy the place?
And but you're also at that point of like, what is the point in having a business? Because if you were to, a lot of people don't, they go with their prices on where they are based and what the local hairdresser next to them is charging, right? And most people have always done that. So my friend Ruth, she has set up a pricing app, right? And it's called the Freelance Suite. Shout out to Ruth. And basically, she has amalgamated everything into this app that you can pinpoint everything that you're using in that service, and it tells you what you should be charging.
Okay.
And see if you looked at that in comparison. It doesn't have any location.
Yeah.
Right? Your rent is what your rent is.
Just what you
and
do.
this tells you what to charge. And like, do you know what I mean? When I look at what she's built and I'm like, oh my God, you have built this on your own. She's a single mum. And I'm like, this is massive and could help so many people, but not enough people know about it.
Yeah.
Because people are just using the model where Sharon down the road is charging 95, so I'll charge 98
Yeah.
or 94.
94 because I'm better. Like,
Yeah.
I'll get more people in. Yeah.
Whereas actually, if you were to calculate the cost of colour and the cost of things is astronomical. And especially like I was with L'Oreal for like 15 years and I've just been like, I've taken a step back from L'Oreal and I'll try another brand because you need to get value out your money. So you're talking like 60 mils of colour wouldn't even do one client. And if you include VAT and everything on top of that, you'd be £15 for your colour alone.
Yeah.
That's not incorporating like your bleach, if you bleach, your foils, your lights on, your rent, your water, your everything. Like I supply cans of water and stuff in the shop and I think water is a basic necessity, right?
Yeah.
I would never serve someone tap water. I'm in Bath Street. I can't do that. But I like cans of water, so I'm trying to minimise the plastic in the shop. So cans of water. Even if you like calculate the cans of water, the coffee, like I use Nespresso pods, like if you calculate the extras for every client, you're probably talking about £5 worth of extras.
Yeah.
Now that can include as well if you're using a card machine. People think card machines are free.
Yeah,
They're not.
There's a percentage on it.
There's a massive fucking percentage.
Cash only
on it.
week.
Yeah. But no one pays
Yeah,
cash
I know,
anymore
yeah.
at all. And I'm like, and see when you say, oh, I would prefer cash, it's not because I'm fucking dodging the tax man. It's because it's nice having fucking cash, but it also means I get the full fucking money. Whereas people have this misconception that if you say it cash only, that you're dodging the tax man, and it's not. It's that you get the full value. If you come to me, your service is £200. After fees, I maybe walk away with 170, maybe 197.
Yeah, so
And that's just the card
It's
payment.
like, they take like 2-3% on it.
So like, and then you've got all the extras on top of that. So actually you're just like, no, I just want the full amount.
Like, just give me all the money.
Yeah.
Like,
It's funny when a customer tries to like pay cash, it's like they're doing a drug deal. It's like, you do know I've gave you this service. Like, this is a legitimate service that you've got. They're like, yeah, here you go. Like,
Yeah.
like, thanks.
I've got a client and every time she's like,
there you go.
I'm like,
Cash is getting that way though, isn't it? It feels a bit.
It's like dodgy.
Aye, it feels a
I
bit
love
dodgy now.
having
Yeah, yeah.
cash.
I feel like, feel it's bad having cash because I feel it's not real.
But
So,
then
like,
to me, I'm like, it's free money. It's
Yeah,
pure
I know,
girl
but-
math.
Well, that's what I was
That's
literally
what-
That's
about
not
to say that.
dangerous. That's fun.
Because that's
Live a little.
like I'll say to you, I was like, I'll get cash in my purse. Like that's I can just go shopping. He's like, no, that's like business money. I'm like, it's not really.
No,
is it? Like,
free
that's-
money.
that's-
Someone pays cash. It's free money.
It's spent on
If you're
whatever.
HMRC, don't.
There
So-
was
oh,
there
sorry.
was a hairdresser's I knew that used to do the open on Sunday, but it was cash only Sundays.
Love that.
Well, it was
It's got
great.
a rhyme and everything.
love it, and he got all these regulars come in on a Sunday because they were like, "It's great, I'll pay cash, it's fine." And again, it's because that's what he said. It's like it's not tax dodging; it's just need the money. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
give
it was
us
a,
cash.
it was a
Yeah.
marketing
Quick.
campaign for him to do whatever. It's funny. Right, so the evolution of running the salon and then creating the training space, I can understand like where that goes. But then you mentioned earlier that you would have 17 businesses if it wasn't for your husband. So you had very recently you've set up another business. So talk through that, like the
Yeah,
pivot
so-
as to why that came about.
Probably about just over a year ago now, I was fed up of getting like all my clothes ruined, right? So I was sitting and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to invest. Like I had started building a capsule wardrobe for myself. So I'd watched all these like Instagram videos and people building capsule wardrobes and trying to be more sustainable and shop
Why was your clothes getting ruined, I guess, first of all? Because the people would probably be very oblivious to
yes,
that.
just from work and stuff like that. So with working in behind the chair, like you get dye, you get bleach, like everything. I'm quite a creative person. I'm quite a messy worker. You'd like to say. Yeah, I'm like Picasso. But it's all over me and all over the floor, all over the client. So yeah, all my clothes, because I wanted to dress nice to work, I would dress nice to work, but all my clothes would get ruined. And I was just sitting and I was scrolling and I thought, there must be really nice high-end bleach-proof clothing, because normally I would shop in COS and the Frankie shop and stuff like that. So to me, I wanted to find something that was bleach-proof but was high quality. And I was scouring through the internet. And there was bleach-proof clothing brands, but they were just like fast fashion. They were like, I don't like Pretty Little Thing, Boohoo. I would never wear any of that. One, I don't like the fabric. I think as well, having that fashion background, I really appreciate fabrics. And I like quality. I'm bougie as fuck. Yeah. So to me, how a fabric, but also I've got a funny shaped body that I don't suit that fucking tight spandex, horrible feeling.
That's like a lot of people doing. It's a very small like percentage.
I think if you're tiny and you've got like
nothing
to you, then it can sit the way it's meant to sit. But so I was scrolling and I was like, I wouldn't wear any of that. Like, and no shade on, like, it might work for people, but in my honest opinion, I'm like, I just found it was just fast fashion. Yeah. So the only options. And I laughed and I said to Christopher, and I was like, I'm going to set up a bleach-proof clothing company. And he turned around to me and he says, do you know what? That's a fucking cracking idea.
And you're like,
and I was like, what? Now, Christopher would be the first, because I've gave him loads of fucking, like, business ideas, and he said, Jade, where the fuck have you got the time? He's like, where are you fitting this in? Yeah. I'm like, I know, but it's a cracking business idea. I'll write it down for later. So when he said to me, I'm like, and I think that to me was the voice that, because he is the voice of reason, and I'm like, oh my God, he's right. So I fucking got to it, and I did all my research, and I wanted, with this business, with the collective, I felt like I had to learn a lot on the job, right? I made financial mistakes. I made all the mistakes I made at that point. And I think that was good, because you learn from everything. Yeah. So with this one, I wanted to take it easy. I wasn't in a rush for it. Like, as much as I am quite I want it now. Yeah. Like, I did take a step back and I was like, no, let's do this. If we're going to do this, this could be monumentous. Let's do it properly so that everything's covered. So I looked into manufacturers. I looked into everything that I needed to do. Everything I needed as well. Business plan, everything. I sat and did it. So I would just do it at night. Or if I had a day off, it would be totally on that. But even down to like trademarks and stuff like that, I was like, I need to trademark this. Now, I never told a soul I was doing this. Never told anyone. I was so, and I probably didn't tell people till about 6 months in. Yeah. And I started dropping wee eggs to people. Just because I felt that it was mine. And I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm going to do this. And it not, I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. I didn't know if I would be able to do it. Because I think to set up a clothing brand, you need to have money. Yeah. So to me, I was like, I didn't have any spare money. I was like, I need to get a loan to be able to then fund this. Because one thing I didn't want to do, which I have ended up doing, I didn't want to self-fund it, because we self-funded the collective and it was so hard financially for us. So I didn't want to self-fund this, but I got a loan and I had to self-fund it. So do your research on costs. No, I think the reason why I had to put a lot of money in is we were 4 months behind when we should have launched, and I didn't budget for that. Right, okay. So in my budget and in my plan, and at the time to run it, it was $4,000 a month. So that 16 grand completely wiped out. Because...
And you're not recouping anything.
No, because I didn't have any stock to sell either. So being 4 months behind was not in my fucking plan. And again, I've learned from that. I think everything that you do in business, no one knows what the fuck they're doing. No. Like, and someone that tries to say that they know what they're doing, you don't. You have an idea and you go with it. And I think as well, I've definitely got undiagnosed ADHD. I definitely do, because I'm so... Yeah. and then I'll start something else and everything. And I'm so passionate about it. And I think that's what's driven me to do this. Like, I'm not doing the clothing to make money. I've not made any money from it. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing it because there's a problem. I want to fix the problem because it's so normalised in hairdressing that if you get bleach on something, you bin it.
Yeah.
And see, when I got market research done very early on, and the amount of waste that goes to landfill as fashion as a whole, but also what hairdressers contribute to that, I was like, this is shocking.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. It's actually very interesting perspective. So, like, yes, there's a need to create a stylish clothing. There's a need for the product itself, from the just having to buy more clothes because of the lifetime of it, but then the environment part as well. So it ticks a lot of boxes.
That was a massive, because I felt like I'm a big firm believer in, if you set up a business, your why is so important.
Yeah.
And again, like, I read Simon Sinek's book from start to finish as I was setting it up, and I thought it resonated with me so much, because I thought there's always a reason why you're doing it, and you need to still keep that alive.
Yeah.
And for me, there was nothing sustainable. Now, if you Google sustainability, right, there is every inch that someone can call themselves or call their brand sustainable because they're doing something.
Yeah.
For me, the whole sustainability thing is a journey, right? You start somewhere, you want to do better, but you don't know why. So I think rather than greenwashing my whole company and say, I am 100% sustainable, on the website it literally says we are on our journey to sustainability because we want to be able to do more. So our packaging is 100% recycled. We do use recycled fabrics, but only some of the fabrics is recycled just now. We will get to a point where we can do everything, but if you've not got money to be able to do all these decisions, so I think it's really important about being transparent, and that's what kind of got me to do it, because I thought all these bleach-proof companies are just churning out fast fashion. So to me, I was like, why is there no core pieces that are seasonless, that don't go on sale? Because you know what it's like, if something's on sale, it encourages you to then buy more of it. So for me, it was really important that the clothing never went on sale. It never goes out of fashion. A pair of high-waisted black trousers will do anyone.
Yeah.
And you could wear them with whatever you want to wear. A blazer, you're like, you can't go wrong with that. You could wear that at any point. So every item that I design meticulously has a purpose. And it's there because it's a reason, because it's something that can't go out of fashion. And I think it's so important to do that. When I look at other brands, it's like, why are you just emulating fast fashion when you could have made a difference? Especially because I'm not the first to do bleach-proof clothing. But you had the chance and the platform to make a change, because some of the people that have set up bleach-proof clothing had like hundreds of thousands of followers. I don't have any followers. So setting up a business like that solely based on the product is so hard. It's so hard because you're trying to convince people who, again, might not know, like my clientele might not exist. My customer base might not exist just now because it's not the same as what current bleach-proof clothing clientele is. Does that make sense?
It's
like,
completely different.
It's a different shopper. It's someone that looks at clothing differently. It's someone that looks at the longevity of an item completely differently, or fashion completely differently. And everyone has got their own style, and I appreciate that. But I wanted to have a line where everyone could wear a pair of black trousers. Everyone could wear. I wanted it to fit most people. And again, it's hard because I've not got a following, or it's not the Molly May effect where I could bring out anything.
Yeah, and everybody buys.
They would buy it. I think it's really hard because you are solely just relying on the product.
Yeah, starting from scratch.
Yeah.
It's
hard.
different because, like, your other two businesses, obviously the Salon and the content and training studio, they're all service based, and then you switch to product based, which is completely different. Like, what's the biggest challenge you've found in that shift?
Fucking it all.
Yeah, like, it's just a completely different way of business.
So different.
Yeah.
And it's so different because you're then having to do, like, photo shoots. You're having to do, like, so much more than just being, like, a service-based industry. So I definitely have learned on the job, and I probably underestimated how much more stressful it would be.
Noah's Ark.
Yeah. There's no room at the end. It's fucking gone. But again, I believe in the product, and every single person that has seen the product or touched the product is like, oh my God, that's amazing. I didn't think it would feel like that. And that's because I have put my fucking heart and soul into making sure the fabrics. I mean, that's why it took over a year to launch it, because for me, it was getting the right fabric. Like I had,
perfect.
yeah, I had like 5 samples of the suits because I wanted to make sure they were right. And then there's problems that go wrong with that. Like one of the samples we got, it wasn't even fucking bleach-proof. I'm like,
well, that's
I'm
the
like,
problem.
kind of the key purpose. And again, do you know what? It was just a total fluke routine. And for me, it was like, I was like, the inconsistencies, no. Because it was the navy and I was so obsessed. I wanted to launch with the navy first. And to me, I was like, I need to pull the navy because that's too much of an inconsistency. Like, because it wasn't one set, it was like the second one. And I'm like, of
like
the same fabric, I'm like, what's
Yeah.
happened here? So I pulled it and I was distraught. But I was like, do you know what? The black is fit for purpose. I can put my name to that. I can be proud of that. And it wasn't till like a couple of months later, my designer was like, Jade, can we go on FaceTime? And I'm like, well, it was a Zoom. And I was like, yeah. And she showed me, she's like, look. And she had like a navy sample and I'm like, oh, what is that? And she's doing it. And then she's like, I did this one earlier, but like, so we don't have to wait for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. She's like, so the navy's back.
It's coming, yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
So this is quite an interesting part of your journey just now then. So what, from obviously being 2 separate businesses, service-based to product-based, what's your marketing strategy to get, so obviously there'll be the awareness of the brand, like you said, to get, because you need sales at some point, where is your head at to try and get into that space and be known in that space then?
So I think, again, it's just really important about building a brand online. So just building an association. Because I think as well, the amount of people I spoke to, before I launched the business, I was doing my outfits of the day. And that was strategic because I thought I want people to have that association that every morning I would do it. They'd be like, oh, Jade's really stylish. I would get messages all the time. You look amazing. Like, you look cool. Love that. Where did you get that from? And I thought, I'm going to use that as fuel for power. So fuel for power. That then when it launched, people will be like, of course Jade would make her own fashion label. Like, obviously that makes so much sense. But obviously people buy into the trust of you're not going to put your name to something that's shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If Jade associates me, like you said the other day, like Jade's stylish.
Yeah.
Like if I have that correlation and that association, that's what's going to help me sell clothes. So for me, it was so important to be able to build that association. Which I then think made it harder to when it launched, it's then you're trying to, okay, I've built up this brand association, but I need to market this. Like, how do I market it? And again, I think it's just a case of I'd got social media, someone to do the social media for me separately. So I keep my page and I just keep trying to build a brand and build an association and would have someone do socials for the clothing because it's time as well. Like I wouldn't have the time to be able to do that, and I don't know much about marketing. I still don't, and I think is it something I want to learn? Probably not.
Yeah, you're probably busy with everything else you're doing. So
like I've got too much going on that I'm like, sometimes I think it's really important to stay in your lane because I think so many business owners think that they can do it all and you can't. You physically cannot do it all. You can't.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that comes to mind that you've tried to do and you're like, nah, this isn't for me?
I think, managing like the social media for the other businesses. Like for mine, again, I can just put out what I want.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. No, we were speaking about this in our last episode, the episode before, that every business owner needs to have an understanding of what goes on for the different roles and whatever, like leads, how that's coming into the business, the market and approach, but you don't necessarily have to do it. No. Like you don't have to do the do type thing, but you can still have your ideas. On the flip side of that though, every business owner, I believe, should have a personal brand of some sort because you'll have your own quirky. Like if I had to do like rate my fit type thing, I don't think people would be interested at all.
You tried to do your marathon, but done it funny. Like when
Yeah, that was more like a social media side of things. But people buy into people, and that's why I think you had such a strong referral business, because you had, yes, your style, your creativity of how you would do hair, but also you as a person. I would imagine a lot of people would like to come to, because it was the therapy session or whatever maybe as well. So I think business owners are missing a big piece with that. You said something earlier that you don't know what you're necessarily doing, you're just winging it. I think there's something to be said about that. I think everybody tries to get the perfect plan or the perfect post and all that. It's like, just put stuff out and learn on the job. That's the best way.
Well, it's fling shit and see what sticks, isn't it? It's like, I think with anything, like I am organised with certain things. Like, so I get up and I go to the gym every morning. For me, that clears my head. Like that's my mental health kind of thing. It keeps me going, but it also, I'm a creature of habit and I like routine. So if I don't go to the gym, I'm off for that day. So I go to the gym every morning and I'll have my set workouts and I'll do whatever. But for me, and then I open my notes when I'm on the treadmill and I plan what I'm doing that day. Anything else after that is fucking winging it.
Yeah.
And I go to my bed at 9 o'clock and I lie and I watch the wee Saturday Night Telly and then I go to sleep. An audiobook and an eye mask. I am a creature of habit, but what happens within that day differs because I have 3 businesses that I need to do. So I think you can't control everything and you can't control how your day's going to go. Do you know what I mean? And I think life is so short that you need to grab the bull by the horns with everything that you do, but also life isn't that serious. And I think that's where people make this misconception of, like, I love having fun. Like, still, I'm at the age I am, I'll run up and jump on my husband, like jump on his back. I'll like pretend to poke his arse. Do you know what I mean? Like we have fun. Like our household is fun because I think what's the point of being so serious with everything?
You said earlier you wanted to grow up and then now you want to be young again. I think there was something, what was it? We said that a couple of months ago. It's like, don't lose the kid that's in you type of thing, because that's the fun. Like that's what makes life fun.
People think as soon as they get older they can't have fun or they can't be serious. Like I've got a nice house, I drive things, but I still run about and go, do you know what I mean? Like,
there's a stigma like how a business owner should act as well. There's sometimes it's like
stuffy and stuff like
that. Like, you need to, it's like, nah, like be yourself.
But I think as well, that's probably more our generation. Like, I can't imagine the generation above us in a suit and tie and be like, oh, Sharon. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I don't want to see that.
But it's like, I'll literally go like, I'll run up to Chris or hide and I'll jump. I'll go, carry me. Yeah. See, like Forky would, and I just do it sporadically, and then I see if he catches me. Do you know what I mean? But I think as well, my kids see that we like play fight. My kids have never seen us argue because we don't. Like we'll just play fight, and again, he's so laid back that we don't really have anything that we would need to argue.
He's just like, nah. Like,
like sometimes, like see when I was setting this up, I remember saying to him. He was eating chicken wings, right? I can't stand people eating.
What, the noise?
Oh, don't.
Is it this?
Yeah, that Miss Soviet. Like, I can't stand it, right? So he knows that. So I feel like he was just doing it just to piss me off. And then he was licking his finger on that, and I said, Christopher, can you just stop making that noise, please? And he's like, what? And he kept doing it, and I was like, you fucking dirty bastard, you fucking... And then I went to think it, and he was like, aye, all right, calm down. And then I've went away, and then he's came back and he's like, "Are you going to say sorry?" And I says, "Listen, I'm sorry you were offended."
I'm sorry you were offended.
You say that all the time. It's like
I went back downstairs, and then I was like, because I did go mental at him, and then I realised, and then I was like, I was a cunt there. Like,
maybe I'm a bit stressed. Maybe like...
So I came back upstairs, and I was like, I want to apologise for earlier. I says, maybe a wee bit cunty, and he was like, a wee bit cunty. He's
just
like,
sitting here
that's your describing word. Like... And I'm like, I do apologise. This has just brought out the best and the worst in me. And he's like, oh, that's fine. Don't worry. Because he'll describe me as a bit cunty as well. Because I can be a bit cunty. But I like that. I think that's healthy. I think it's just being realistic. But
I like it. No, it's good.
I think I like what I like. I have my opinions. And yes, what others might see as being a bit cunty, to me is just who I am.
Just you. I like it. So, like, I was going to say there, you've got your 3 sides of your businesses. What's your, not what your passion is, but what's your favourite part of all 3? Can you choose
Do you know what I think is really nice? And I know this sounds like pure, like, airy-fairy, but I honestly think I was the fact that I can do fashion and hair together, like, I honestly think that's what my calling was. Like, that's what I was meant to do.
Do you think, like, 18-year-old Jade, who was at fashion college, she'd be like, oh, we actually done?
Yeah, she'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this. We're not making a tit of ourselves.
Yeah, we're actually doing it.
It's because I remember I made a dress for my friend, right? And she wore it on a night out and it started on unravel. So we had to, like, try and pin her in with, like, things. So I was so proud of my design, but obviously it just wasn't stitched. So, yeah, looking back from there to here, I'm like, oh,
You're
okay.
like, oh, this has progressed just ever so slightly.
Yeah.
No one's clothes are falling apart. It's great.
I think it's nice as well. Like, Christopher will always say to me, like, look how far you've come, because I think, like, I don't give myself enough credit for what I have done, because I probably am never complacent. I'm always moving the goalposts because I'm always like, right, how can I better myself? But I also think, and I think I do think you're born with something in you that you think you're better, like you're destined for better things, right? And I think it's funny because I think if you're born with it, you understand it. If you're not, I sound like an arsehole. So, like, sometimes I'll say to Christopher and he's like, oh no, I've never, like, I don't know what you're on about. Whereas I'm like, I've just always known I'm destined to do something.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I watched the Robbie Williams programme, and in that he keeps talking about how he was destined, like in his film, he was like, I'm destined to do more. Now, I don't mean on stage or being like a pure massive, I am now bringing out songs, I'm now a singer. But I've always known I was destined for more. Yeah. Like, I've always known that there was something there. And whether or not I find that or not, I think it's a different ballgame. But I just think, for me, keep going. Like, the goal is to be able to sit on a Wednesday in the Shard, having lunch and no phone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And
Like, to get to that point that everything else works and you don't actually need to be there and you're just reaping the benefits of your business. Like, that's the level I want to get to.
Do you think, though, you'll get to that level and everybody's running everything for you? You're just maybe overseeing stuff, but you've not got that much to do and you're enjoying life in the Shard? I think you'll have another business. I genuinely see, if you get to that point, I think you'll be like, there's another business coming.
Yeah, I think I'm just constantly... Apologies. Phone on silent. I think it's always going to be something of me. I'll always be chasing something. Yeah. But I think as well, I've always got really expensive taste. So I'm like, I can't afford me just now.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I need to work harder to be able to afford Jade now.
You'll bring out that list that Christopher keeps saying no to the business ideas. And you'll be like, right, now we've got time, right?
Yeah.
Like, what will we do now?
But there's so many things, because I like fixing a problem. So to me, I'm like, see if there's a problem, I'm like, why would you not do this to make your life easier and fix it?
Yeah.
And I have that problem solving kind of mindset that I'm like, okay, if people are so used to doing this, and that's why, again, with the collective, like, there was no one doing that. Same as with the clothing, there was no one doing it. So see, the minute I'm like, no one's doing something, most people from a business point of view would be like, well, if no one's doing it, I'm not going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I see the complete opposite. I'm like, no one's doing it.
That makes sense in the industry that you're in. It's like, you've got it ties back to that passion, as you were saying. It's funny how it's quite reassuring to hear you say, like, I think we are all the same in this art of building your own business, doing your own thing. That once upon a time the dream was to have your own wee box, and then that dream became, I'm going on Salon, and then it just grows and grows and grows. But we were saying, was it last year or the year before, like, taking the time to appreciate the moments, because life does go, like, you probably like that, like, it's probably a click of the fingers and you're like, my daughter's 15, like, how's that happened, like, so quickly? What you try to do now to stay present with the fast-paced life? To be fair, I really just want to enjoy the process of becoming. Like, I think it's so imperative. Like, last year we had experienced loss really close to our family. So my mother-in-law was diagnosed with MND, and from diagnosis to her passing was 11 months. Right. And in that time frame, she was bedridden for 9 months of that. So actually within getting diagnosed, she had 3 months, like, she couldn't even have a bucket list or do anything.
And I think it's such a horrible disease to watch someone go through because it's so detrimental so quickly as well. And there's not enough information about women. Like, so when women go through it, like there's loads for men because of Doddy Weir and all these rugby players, that people have the association that it comes with. Max never played a game of rugby in her life. She never played sports. Do you know what I mean? She was like overweight. Like she wouldn't have what people have that association with M&D. And with women, the lifespan is actually dramatically shorter than what it is with men.
Right.
But I think after her passing, it made me a lot softer. So it was before that and going through that level of grief, I would never cry. So see everything that I'd went through, it actually just made me stronger as a person. And I would put up this wall and this barrier. And to me, I seen crying as weakness. I was like, I'm not going to cry. I'll just fucking get on with it and I'll do it because no one else is going to do it. Like I need to do, like everything I've done, I've worked for myself. I've not been handed anything. I've worked for it myself. And I think when that happened in that diagnosis, and when you go through grief like that so close, it does make you realise that life is too short. So do the thing you want to do. Like buy the car you want to buy.
Wake-up call, isn't it? For a lot of people.
And I think as well, because 11 months from diagnosis, like literally her remembrance is actually today. And that whole year, if we think of even the 9 months before that, it's such a short time that you don't know what's ahead of you. And again, I had this conversation with my friend the other day and she was like, oh, are you saving for a pension, right? I'm really against pensions, right? I'm against the whole fucking, and banks, everything. I fucking hate them, right?
Cash.
But I hate a pension. I don't want to pay into a pension in this country when I don't really want to even be in this country. Like, see, by the time I'm of that age, I don't want to.
You want to be in lying in a beach somewhere,
Fuck the Shard, I'll be
on a yacht. The Shard, the bar's low there.
But to me, it's like people have that, oh no, you're mental to do that. And I'm like, we could literally get hit by a bus tomorrow. Why would I pay £1,000 into something that, like Max never even got to use her pension. She had an 80 grand job, like £80,000 job a year, paid into a pension her whole fucking life and never got any of it. Now, I get that if you're leaving, like my father-in-law is obviously still alive and it'll go to him when he's of age to get a pension. I get that. But then what happens if he doesn't make pension age? Like, your money is your money, right? And again, there is generational wealth. You want to leave things for your kids. I get that. I do. But I would rather have assets for my kids and not in the form of a house, but whether it's a business or whether it's something that you're putting through. There's so much more you can do rather than trusting a bank that in 2008, the banks all collapsed. Everyone fucking lost all their pensions. That can happen and probably will happen again. Because people trust banks so much that the minute it goes into a bank, it's just a digit. It's not actually your money. And I think for me, I went off on a tangent there. That's fucking
well, there'll be another episode just on banks.
There's some good clips there. We'll get you viral on TikTok for those ones, don't worry.
But I believe that, like, enjoy what you can while you can.
Definitely.
And don't get me wrong, I think towards the end of your life as well, it's actually like pointless having your own money because, again, if you were to go into a care home, they would take all your money from you.
I know.
Just to pay for your care home. Whereas if you were on benefits at that age, then you would get it all paid. Like, it's fucking
you think
mental.
you're going to go in the care home, like somehow get rid of all your cash so then the benefits can pay for it?
Put it black.
Exactly.
Just gamble it all.
But see, life, there are people that will be so serious and they'll have like this pot and this pot. And they I get that people look at money differently. I am saying that when I'm like, oh, fuck it, I need money for this. But you'll always get it and you'll always find it. And money will come to you and money will leave you.
It's just Jill's quote. We were in Hvar, Croatia, beautiful part of Croatia, Hvar. And we had our spending money and then we had to go to the bank to the ATM to lift out more money. And then we spent that in a day and I was like an ice cream cone was like £23 or something like that. And I was like, this is an expensive, like, this was a 4-day trip.
Yeah, we're with like two friends.
It was meant to be like, we'll put 500 quid aside each and we'll go to like Spain. We ended up going to Croatia. And I was like, this is an expensive trip. And Jill was like, guys, money comes back, memories don't.
Exactly.
And then that was 3 years ago, and I'm like, guys, are we all okay? Did anyone lose their house? No.
Yeah.
Did we have great memories? Yeah, we're fine.
But that's the thing, I think memories will stick with you. You're not
You're
going to lie on
absolutely
your
right, though,
deathbed
yeah.
and be like, oh, I wish I paid into that pension.
I know,
know.
like, I should have bought that ice cream that was £23.
Like-
I enjoyed that ice cream. It's the best ice cream I've ever had.
We actually, to see the funny thing, we nearly dropped it because it fell out my hand and I caught it and I was like, imagine I dropped that.
It's a very expensive ice cream.
That was a funny
But the
thing.
memories are still
Yeah.
here. So.
But again, you have that funny story, and
And
again, you'll
exactly, that's
probably
the
then
point,
pass
right,
that
we
on to your
bring
kids
that
and
up,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Like,
Exactly.
Now, life is way too short. In terms of like all the business ideas that you have, what would be a dream business you'd love to set up that you're not doing? Just completely off the rails, completely
not
different.
telling you that,
No,
that's in my
in case it
fucking
happens.
It's on the bucket list.
no, I think there's so many. Like, I would love to have a florist, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
because I have
interesting.
got like green fingers. Like, I'm so creative, and I love doing that kind of stuff. So I would love to have a florist. And my other thing was, I make amazing soup, right? I can make soup out of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'd love to have like a wee takeaway, but like not like a pure greasy spoon, but like a nice
like a
soup
nice.
kind of place. So a soup and a florist.
But you could kind of join it somehow, like half and half.
You'll find a way.
Yeah, I'll find a way.
I believe
Go in
you.
with your in for your soup and come out with some flowers.
Yeah.
Well, if you get a training academy, it's like, I can provide the lunch, here you go. And then you could pivot the whole content creation
Yeah.
to give flowers.
Exactly. But I think when there's a will, there's a way. I don't have the money to set up another business. And
Christopher might
Yes,
listen to this and he'll be like,
Christopher's like, fuck.
I was like, no.
can't make
He's
soup.
like, does anyone else love her? Like, honestly, it's so funny because there is no one else that would be able to put up my shite like that, man.
It's good you found them.
Yeah. One kind of final line of question, because I really wanted to ask you this. I think running your own business, a very male-dominated thing, and I love the whole, like, obviously, me and Jill, we run our business together, but there's I don't know how to word this question, so I've not really thought it through, but in terms of, like, running a business, a woman's role in today, or maybe in an older generations, the societal role for them was be at home, stay at home, be with the kids. How are you raising your daughters and that sort of thing? Like, what's your hope for them? Do you want them to figure that out for themselves? Or
So I am a massive, like, I hate misogyny, right? I hate it. And I hate hearing it or seeing it in different aspects because I'm like, don't get me wrong, there are things that men can do that women can't. There's things that women can do that men can't. I do believe that I look at that from both sides. Women are probably better at running businesses purely only because they can multitask better than what men can, right? If you look at women CEOs, even CEOs of companies, a lot of them are women because they can multitask and they look at things from different angles. Christopher will always say to me, men are logical and women are emotional. And I'm like, yeah, but men think they're logical, but they'll look at something one way and then look at that, how to break. Whereas women will look at everything from like a broader spectrum, in my opinion. Cue all the misogynists. Jeez, I can't. But from my point of view, I always want the girls to be, like, I laugh, like, Ruby hasn't got it in her to run her own company, right? Ruby will work for someone and she'll work her fucking arse off and she'll be thinking, but she's not got that. Scarlett is a psychopath or a CEO. Like, she is one of the two. She's got it in her to run a company and to delegate and to, I already see it when she's on the phone to her friends. I'm like, she's like, right, I'll do this. And she's quite good at, she's not bossy with it.
Yeah.
It's almost as if she's like a narcissist in the way she's like telling people, she's gaslighting them into thinking, I'm the better option, but you are good for this. So we'll do that for
So you do that
She's
bit.
so strategic. And see for 8, but this is where I'm like, she's me now.
Yeah.
So she sees how I am now and she's replicating that. Whereas Ruby is, she wants to do well. She's never going to be the top of the class. She's never going to be the bottom of the class, but she wants to do well. She is the top of the class in the subjects that she enjoys. But academically, she's maybe like mid. And I said, look, see, as long as you can put in all the effort you can put in, that's all we can ask for. I says, you can't do what you can't do. So there's no point in putting in, like, beating yourself up because you're not going to get an A when you never had an A. You had a B. So I think sometimes it's just giving kids that realistic expectation of being like, see, as long as you've put the work in, you can take a step back and be like, I did my best. I tried. But I think trying to beat yourself up, like she's going to do prelims like next month. And she did mock prelims before and she was like upset and she's like, I never did this. And I said, I know, but you've learnt from that. I said, but also you getting upset isn't going to change what's happened.
Yeah.
I said, so what you need to do is use that for fuel for fire and be like, right, I don't like this, but I failed on this, so I'll go and memorise this.
Mm-hmm.
And then all you could do is put in your effort on the day. I says, but your coursework is done throughout the whole year. I said, so if your teachers see that you are of this level, they'll mark it on that level. So if you don't perform well on the day, you're okay. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Ruby, I don't think has the CEO in her because she's not ruthless. Mm-hmm. Like she's not got that. Like she hates saying no to people or she'll say sorry all the time. And I just think as a business owner, you can't really say sorry all the time.
Need to work on people-pleasing skills.
Yeah, she's very people-pleasing.
Yeah.
I think she might change me. Like she might change my mind and she might think it. I think she'll be a really, really good lawyer, but a humanitarian lawyer. Yeah. She's definitely not going to be a criminal lawyer.
She could help Scarlett out if she ends up doing the psychopath route. She needs that.
Scarlett is mental. She is.
I think that's second child syndrome. Yeah, you see that.
And I was mental. I was the youngest, but yeah, she's mental. But she's hilarious. She's like, and she's one of these kids that she's always happy. Mm-hmm. She's always laughing. Like she's just, it's infectious. Yeah. Like she's cute. She's funny.
Wow. Bro. Well, like, this has been, I don't know how long we've been going for, maybe just shy of 2 hours.
Yeah,
was it more?
No.
Is it more?
It's 12 o'clock.
It's 2 hours, just over 2 hours.
Oh my God, I'm fucking Gabby Annie, man.
No, but these are good.
We
did want to do these because the founder stories are always so interesting. Everybody's journey to business is different and everybody's very unique in how they get there. And what we hope to do over these interview series is show that there's so many different ways to get into business. And I think there's a lot of things that you said there that I think a lot of people will resonate with, but the common theme there is it's like your why and your passion, like that'll carry you through a lot. And obviously we'll shout this out in the intro anyway, but we're going to be collabing on the studio stuff as well. So the reason we wanted to have you on as one of the first guests, that was, I think we already said that before we were going to have this conversation, because when we met you last and what Jill's obviously been to that, like how you're running your business is cool to see. So I wanted to give you a chance to
winging it.
Winging
it. It's the best way.
Guess that's more confidence. It's like cool. Everybody else is winging it. We're winging it. It's
but
fine.
I think as well, no one knows what they're fucking doing. Like they just, and if they say they do, they don't. They're just
even the business mentors who tell people what to do. I don't even think.
No, I don't think they know what they're doing. Yeah. But I think the big thing and if we're going to wrap this up, is if you're running a business and someone else is running a business, like support every business that you can in a way of being like, you want everyone to succeed. Like I love seeing people do well, and I love seeing people get from A to B. And again, like their story, how they got there, like again from a nosy point of view, but also from a point of view of being like, you can resonate, because with social media and everything, you just see the nice, like you don't see the behind the scenes and
what actually happens.
The fucking tears and the fucking meltdowns that everyone has. Like if you say you haven't had a meltdown when you've got a business, you're lying.
Or you're just not running your business right. Who can do that?
You're fucking blind.
No, you're like, it's fine, it's all good. Pimp yourself out. Where can everyone find you and what all your different businesses?
Oh, okay. So the 145 Collective, for all your training and education and freelance needs, is located in Bath Street, 145 Bath Street, 145 Collective.
I had a question to ask you, like, where did you come up with the name? But that makes sense now.
Yeah,
did you not know that?
I didn't know it was the address was 145.
What were they yesterday?
I just put it in. You don't look, do you? You put it in Google Maps and you hit send, and then that's it.
It was original.
Nice.
It was funny because someone had said something the other day, and they'd been in the building so many times, and they were writing a review, and they wrote 135.
Oh, I know.
The 135 Collective, and I'm like,
I just don't know my name.
You had one job. And
I had to kind of correct it to just change. And whether she's maybe typed differently, I don't know.
Let's just give her that.
Yeah, I'll give her that.
Just a wee typo.
But And then on my clothing label is Jade Hayter, the label. Because again, original. If you trademark your own name, no one can sue you.
That's a very smart
good,
plan.
good
I like
point.
it. I like it.
And then, yeah, you don't need my name is Jade here, just my personal Instagram.
We'll leave a link in the show notes below as well, so everyone can find you. But thank you. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
you
Sorry
much.
for pure.
No,
I
it's
know you
Gabby
loved it.
Annie.
It was great. Thank you.